second day of Dynamics at FSG 2025. We have two lovely events going on for you right now, visible on track and in the live stream. The driverless acceleration and the manual Skidpad. From the manual Skidpad, we have our first competitor, car number 17, setting up for their very first run of the day. Just exploring the track. And across the line, our very first time of the day is in car number 17 from Cluj-Napoca. And the driver electing not to do their second run immediately afterwards. They are stepping out of the queue for now as we wait for the next competitors to arrive on this lovely German morning.
Einmal eine FSG-Jacke ist wieder und einmal mein Abheben. Ja? Alter, wenn ich irgendwen erwische mit einem Pulli, der mir passt, mit einem roten A-Pulli, der mir passt, du weißt ja nicht, wie die Runde steht.
And now we have car number 54 from UPC Barcelona lining up for their first run of the day. Driver going a little bit tentative, finding the right line. Not speeding up too much on the time loop.
A little wiggle after the first left-hander. And it is the best time so far. Right, driver opting to do his second run immediately. Definitely makes sense.
Driver definitely looks to be going faster this time around.
Yeah, makes sense to first to a little bit of a banker, but this is this looks a lot quicker. Very clean so far. No mistakes. All right, we already have a very decent time on the board by the team from Barcelona. And again, with a bit of singing. I see even early in the morning, they know how to sing.
Always. There's already a 5.1 on the board, Matti. Very, very close to the fastest times we saw yesterday from both the driverless Skidpad and the historic vehicles.
And did they also participate in the driverless Skidpad? So maybe we can do a little comparison.
Now let's see, I think we'll be bringing a lot of updates on that throughout the day.
I do have a feeling they were like one of the 5.5 second club.
You remember very correctly, Matti. They had a 5.454 in the driverless Skidpad, and now the driven version already shaving 0.3 off of that with a 5.1.
Right, so we'll try to keep a closer eye on the comparison between driverless and with the driver, so manual as we call it here.
So far, 1-0 Team Human. So Matti, you of course have driven quite a number of Skidpads back in your day, both in training and at competitions. What sort of wisdom would you impart to all the drivers looking to make an impression today?
Yeah, I think the rule of in order to finish first you need to finish. It's more relevant for the endurance, but also on Skidpad, it's just important to have a time on the board without any counts, without any mistakes. Once you have that, then you can try to start pushing, but we also saw yesterday in the historic Skidpad that some drivers did about 4 runs after each other, and often it was the 3rd run which was actually the quickest. So in Skidpad you can definitely over push and do it a bit too quickly, and then you actually lose time. So I feel it's always a matter of keeping it clean, keeping it tight, and that usually gives you the best lap time. Yeah, there's always this question as well. Is it worth to accelerate in between the switch from right to left and left to the exit. I'm still not too sure about it, how much it matters. But what is sure is that it definitely adds a lot of risk. We see a lot of drivers overcooking it in the switch or overcooking it at the very end, clipping a few cones or even power sliding their way to the exit. On one hand, I hope everyone drives safe without clipping any cones. On the other hand, it does give a bit of spectacle. So maybe if it's a bit 50-50, then we can be happy.
Our third contestant of the day making their way over to the start line, car number 120 from Diepholz Dynamics. But just as I say that, it appears they're not in fact making their way over to the starting line, but unfortunately to the back of the queue and the exit of the dynamic area. Perhaps some issue was discovered that they're now going to be hoping to fix. In the meanwhile, we have one more car in the queue at the moment, car number 13. I believe that is from Valais. So car number 13, having gone through the final checks with the officials, now going over to the starting line. And I double checked, Matti, that is the car from the University of Sion. Let's see what they can do.
And I think I first saw them yesterday on the Crazy 20 actually. Looks like they still have their crazy 20 traction control settings on. Hopefully it won't bother the driver too much. Looks nice and tight on the second one. And yeah, this is a bit of a driverless experience that we're seeing here again. The driver seems to forgot he had to do a left again. So hopefully he will be instructed what he did wrong.
And they're going immediately for their second run.
Yeah, he only did 2 right-handers and then just left.
Yeah, the track marshals very helpfully just reminding the driver that you have to do 2 right-hand loops and 2 left-hand loops.
Yeah, maybe he was still a bit too tired this morning on the morning briefing, because they do explain these kind of things. Still, his style is pretty good.
And that first run did help him a little bit. He does improve by 1/10 on the right-hand side.
And he makes it into the left hand, more importantly. A little bit of wheel spin in some of the bumps. That's pretty cool. And it's a successful skid pad.
It's a 6.0.
All right, 6.0, that's
second time so far.
podium place.
Let's see if he can maintain that position until the end of the day.
So what was the quickest driverless skid pad yesterday? I think it was from, was it Revolve or Aachen with a 4.8 something?
It was Revolve with a 4.875. And then Aachen was second with a 4.9, and Chalmers was the third and final team to do a sub 5 second time, 4.96.
Yeah, some pretty competitive times, but already in the historic skid pad we saw times of 4.68. Igor, do you think we will beat that today?
I mean, I would sure hope so. And I think, yes, one or two teams might push that historic TU Munich car to the limit.
I hope so too. Of course, the track is rubbered in a little bit more, but the conditions are a bit cooler as of now. With a bit of luck, it heats up a bit more. But I feel like the conditions are going to remain pretty stable throughout the coming 2 hours.
And of course, with a lot of teams competing both in the driverless component and the main event, so to speak, they of course have the morning session to do two events. They have to do the autonomous acceleration, which is live right now, and the manual skid pad. So it'll be interesting to see how they choose to split the time, where they decide to go first, where they decide to go second, how many runs they're able to get in.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be quite tight. We only have 2.5 hours, no, 2 hours left even, where the teams indeed need to do both acceleration and the skid pad.
3 hours, Marty.
Whoops, it's morning math for you. Okay, 3 hours is not too bad actually. I was already thinking 2 hours, that's very tight. But with 3 hours then you still have a bit of time for some debugging if needed.
Well, maybe just a little bit, because looking at the inspection status, we do expect to see 61 teams participating in the skid pad, and 4 runs per team. How long does a run take on average?
Well, the run itself is pretty short. It's the whole process of queuing and everything. Of course, with the manual cars, if it gets busy, we can make it a bit more efficient and get a bit more throughput in terms of cars. But yeah, wow, 61 cars. Let's hope we see them all.
61 cars, and right, you corrected me, they get 2 runs at the manual skid pad. But a single run takes about a minute, I would say on average. The run itself, the lining up with the marshal, driving off the track afterwards.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
2 runs per team, that's already 2 hours gone, assuming no delays at any point. So
Yeah, no.
definitely, if there are any teams, sitting in their pits thinking, plenty of time yet, I would try to get your car ready as quickly as possible and get it out here on track.
Yeah, this morning I already saw a lot of teams queuing up for the driverless acceleration. My gut feeling would be that many of the teams will first go for a driverless acceleration, then come to Skidpad, and then take their sweet time to do the second driverless acceleration, because then they have a bit of time for debugging. Often with these driverless cars, if something goes wrong, then immediately it doesn't start or doesn't go. In the manual events, it's a bit more lenient. The driver can always solve a few things in order to get the car around. And as I say that, that's UAS, is it Lemgo? Lemgo? And this is the first time we've seen them, or did we already see them yesterday? I think we saw them yesterday on the Crazy 20 as well. Of course, it was dark, so it's a bit hard to distinguish all the cars. Really cool looking car with the transparent monocoque. You can see the driver inside. That's really cool.
And the driving position is so low, you almost can't even see the legs. It's as if there's nothing there at all.
Yeah, indeed. It must be a pretty small driver, because I cannot see his legs being bent. So I always assume if it's a bigger driver, then you'd see a bit more angle in the legs. But yeah, super low.
Yeah, perfectly straight. No. And they like to go for their second run immediately. Their first was a 6.66. That was a very popular score with the jury yesterday at the Crazy 20.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can improve. What do you think, sub 5 second or no?
No, but I think if they can manage to get below 6, that would be really impressive.
Yeah, below 6 is what I meant to ask.
Yeah. But you never know. We get a surprise from time to time. Driver definitely pushing more, even a bit on power oversteer in a skid pad. Maybe we should tell the driver that Crazy 20 is over. Unfortunately, clips a few cones. Will we see a bit of a drift on exit? Yes, we do. Nice power slide.
6.078.
In this event, the power slide does not give you any points, unfortunately.
Well, it could give, a couple of kudo points with us, the commentators, but not with the officials and the judges.
Yeah, no, the extra points for sliding was yesterday. I was a bit surprised that not that many teams were doing drifts all the way, while I feel like on autocross and endurance there are many cars that do drifts all the way. But then in the Crazy 20, suddenly they actually went for the lap time. Is that the beautiful car from Toronto again? We have seen them make a lot of appearances already. Yesterday at the very end on our driverless skid pad. Now we're going to do a manual skid pad.
And indeed, speaking of a lot of spins and power slides, this was definitely one of the highlights at the Crazy 20 yesterday. Let's see if the car is a little bit more tame this morning.
Yeah, indeed. They took crazy, quite literally, and went quite nuts. This looks a lot more composed, so yeah, they do take this a bit more seriously. I had a good night's sleep. Just as with many driverless cars, a bit slower first right-hander, but then definitely speeding up. Nice switch from the driver.
Yeah, full second faster on the timed loop, 6 versus 1.3. And now already a 6.1 on the first. And a 5.96 for a 5.99 total time.
That's a pretty good lap. I could already hear the tires of the fronts squeaking just a little bit. They do not choose to do the second run. Interesting tactic. So they will probably head over to the driverless acceleration if they have not done so, and then do them, manual skid pad acceleration. That would be my guess. It looked really nice to drive, the Toronto car. the driver was really not struggling at all to get it balanced. It looked very stable. And yeah, sub 6 seconds. So that's always a good time on Skidpad.
And I'm just looking at the autonomous acceleration times that we've seen so far, Matti. What would you guess is the fastest time so far?
Ooh, I need to recalibrate a bit now. So I think typically best times would be around 3.5, 3.4. So I have a feeling the best one now might be a 3.6.
It is a 3.2 by car number 33 from Zurich.
3.2? What? That's crazy. This already so early in the morning. That's close to the record. I think the record is from Delft, somewhere 2 years ago, with a 2.99, just under 3 seconds. But yeah, 3.2 with a driverless. Impressive.
Yeah, I think the Delft record was set at Formula Student East. So, you know, maybe slightly different track conditions, slightly different weather conditions. 3.2 is an insanely fast time.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a FSG record. I don't know by heart what the quickest, but I feel like the quickest I've seen here is 3.4, maybe 3.3. 3.2. Yeah, well done. I hope we also see some legendary times here up here on the Skidpad. But so far it's been relatively calm. We've had, what is it, 5 cars on track? 4 to 5 cars. But I do expect once some of the cars clear driverless acceleration, we'll get a bit of a tsunami of cars here in a half an hour or so.
I think it's also a bit of drivers, you know, known for being a little bit fickle, a little bit you know, desperate for any advantage that they can gather. So I'm sure they're insisting on waiting until there's as much rubber and as much heat in the Skidpad track here as possible before they come. But for now, we just get to enjoy a beautiful, sunny, crisp Hockenheim morning.
Okay, and I think we might get some action again on the manual skid pad. There's one car in the queue. I think it's a car from Weingarten E60, and I also see another car being pushed in. We were just actually checking in on the driverless acceleration on the other side, and apparently there it's super busy, so we're hoping to see the cars make their way after the run to the skid pad. So the officials again doing a variety of checks before the car is going. I think one of the checks that they do is kind of like a resistance check. So there's a system built in the car. I think it's the IMD system that checks if the resistance is high enough at all times. Because if it isn't, then it might indicate a short circuit due to water or whatever other problem in the car, and that's of course a problem. So before the cars go on track, they do a little test to check if that system works, and thus check if the car is safe to go. I see happy faces here, so no drama for Weingarten. They're doing the final checks, and then hopefully in a few minutes we can see them make their way to the skid pad.
And Matti, while the scrutineers have a bit of a lull in the action, maybe you could ask them what are the sorts of things that they check for in the post-scrutineering after a team completes their run.
Yeah, I'll have a check while we are waiting, and then maybe I can brief you on it in a second. So a little chat with the scrutineers here, who are also waiting for a next car to check. And actually they have a really cool system. The team, they need to grab one of the cards, so they get the option between different cards. They do not know what's on the cards. And on the cards there are 3 different checks that they will execute. Most of the checks are about ground clearance, checking if the aerodynamics are within the bounding boxes, but also checking for certain leaks or any oily things around the car. We have a new car on track. The car from Weingarten. It looks like a fast car, so let's see if it can also perform on track. It's going very slow. Cars seem to have temporarily shut down, but no worries. Driver managed to catch back up right in time and do its first part of the skid pad. Definitely speeding up in the left-hander. Some tires squeaking in the bumps, as we've seen with other cars as well. And it's a 5.6, a lot quicker on the left. I think it had a little bit of a problem on the right, so I definitely think they can improve. But a 5.6, that's a really good first run.
No, and indeed, they were a 5.87 on the right-hand loop and a 5.4 on the left-hand. But this is also something we've noticed throughout all of the skid pads we've seen so far, Matti. The left-hand loop is considerably faster for some reason.
Yeah, and I still don't believe it, or I don't understand why, because there's like a very big bump on the left-hander. But yeah, the data says otherwise. Left seems to be quicker. and Weingarten deciding not to do their second run immediately. So they are also playing the tactic game. In front of me is the beautiful car from Mannheim. I remember with like the dashed diagonal lines with the differentiating colors. We've seen them yesterday on the driverless. We've also seen them on the Crazy 20. And they are slowly making their way. Car is not moving yet. A few worried faces from the team. Drivers getting instructions how to start it. They're going to recycle the power. And maybe in the meantime, Igor, what was the time? Did they get a successful run in the end, Mannheim, at the DV Skidpad yesterday? Because then again, we can do our little comparison.
No, looking at the driverless timing for the Skidpad yesterday, car number 69 did not set a time.
No, I think they were one of the teams that only came in very late, and then I don't think they managed to get it going for the DV. And it seems like they have a similar issue now in the manual side of things, because the car does not want to move. Yeah, it did move for the Crazy 20. It seems like they will give up for now, probably re-queue and then try again. Given that they have not made it to the start line, I don't think this will count as a run at all. And they just have to re-queue. And then a car I have not seen yet, the car from Amberg OTH. They used to be called Running Snail. Not sure if that's still the case. And behind them is the car from Diepholz. We already identified them. We already saw them here earlier in the queue, but then they decided to return. Hopefully this time they will actually do a Skidpad run. And more cars are coming into the queue. So it is a bit what we predicted. That now that some cars have done the DV acceleration, they are slowly making their way to the Skidpad. So I'm ready for an hour of action. And we also have a view on the test track. And I have to say, I'm surprised how calm the test track has been this morning. To me, that indicates how busy teams are with making sure they get a Skidpad run in and an acceleration. As I say so, there's a team 36 that's doing almost a bit of a donut on the test track. I don't think it was quite intended. It looks like the driver is practicing the Skidpad. Let's hope he doesn't do a burnout here on track. Oh, it does one again. Crazy 20 was yesterday, so they're a bit late with that. And Running Snail car from Amberg OTH is charging up. I can hear the T-cell sound. The red light is blinking and it's making its way to the Skidpad. I think this car has potential to set the fastest time of the day. Although the Barcelona car was also very quick, very early on in the session. But yeah, the Amberg Weingarten team, they never disappoint.
Well, we've seen a 5.1 so far. I think there'll be plenty of sub 5 second times. Let's see what they do indeed. Very aggressive start.
Immediately clipping a cone and sliding. It's quite an aggressive start. The driver has seen he clipped the cone, so that's kind of good feedback for the next run. It does look like it's lacking some grip. Is it the track or is it the tires? Both understeer and oversteer at the same time, but what's the time? So
it is a 5.1, just a little bit slower than Barcelona. But let's see if they elect to do their second run immediately. No, they do not.
They do not. That's an interesting choice. I feel, of course, they probably discussed this beforehand, but I feel like they had some issues getting the tires to work. And on their last left-hander, they actually had a sub 5 second. And on the right-hander, only a 5.2. So big difference between right and left. And I do have a feeling it's more about tire temp than having clean tires. But yeah, they chose to do their second run later.
Now Diepholz has lined up and have gotten going. Tentative but smooth through the first right-hander.
Oh, it sounds nice, the car. It's very soothing electrical sound. 5.6 on the right.
And I think the driver forgot to do their second left-hander.
Yeah. No, we've seen this so often with drivers. It must be very hard to count how many laps you're doing. And he's also not choosing not to do a second run. Yeah, it was really improving. Like the right-hander was a 5.6, but already on the left-hander, in the non-timed one, it was a 5.4. So promising times ahead, but unfortunately, yeah, the driver forgot to do one more left-hander. Yeah, I think as driver you're so focused on kind of like performing the grip of the car that you just forget to count how many rights and lefts you have done. Yeah, we should keep like a percentage of how many drivers actually make that mistake, because it's a lot. Either they do one or they do three. We've seen everything.
I think this was the second one of the day for now.
Yeah, we had one, I found it very interesting, that just went straight, right? After the two rides, just went straight and decided had enough.
I believe that might have been the car from Sion.
And yeah, talking about the time of Sion, it seems like they're here again for their third run then? Yeah, it is them again, so not sure if they get a rerun somewhere, something went wrong, but they are given a third run.
I think once again, Matti, we really need to catch up on the rules to make sure we don't misinform anyone too much.
And lots of wheel spin again. The driver did that on the first attempt as well. But then luckily, look how much steering angle he has to apply on the, I think it's a round steering wheel. Lots of understeer on that car, followed by oversteer on power. Driver really struggling to get it going. Also, yeah, it's carrying a cone with it. How long will he carry it till the end? No, got stuck underneath now. Maybe Marshall will get it away. Yeah, cone that's 0.25 second penalty, I think. So
yeah, it's a 6.165, so unfortunately also not an improvement for them. Well, let's see if they now go for run number 4. Yes, they do.
Or would it be that if you don't have driverless that you get 4 runs?
But it seems that the marshals will first allow car number 76, KA Racing, the other Ulm, to do their first attempt.
Yeah, and this is the kind of stuff we can do with the manual Skidpad, which is a bit trickier with the driverless ones. We can just stack different cars and let them kind of run at the same time. There's a little bit of discussion going on.
A little bit of discussion, a little bit of hand waving towards the car from Sion, a little bit of pointing to the paper. I'm not sure if the marshals realize that they have allowed Sion to run 2 times per driver.
Indeed,
so
they're equally confused as us.
Indeed. Now maybe when there's a little break, we'll be able to ask them and see what's going on.
All right, the other Ulm, Karlsruhe, of course, with the beautiful yellow details on the tires, are making their way. They had a very quick driverless Skidpad, so this might be one for the driverless team. Oh, a little correction on the right-hander. That will cost him time.
It's a 5.015 by the driverless car to beat.
Wow. It's setting the bar. This is definitely not beating it. 5.18. The driver had a really good last left-hander. And I think he just made a mistake on the right-hander, costing him a few tenths. So will he go for a second run now? He will.
Yeah. Well, they need to figure out the situation with the Valise car from Sion first.
And they're still waiting, which is of course a little bit of a shame because now the tires are only cooling down. And yeah, hopefully they make a decision quick on the Valise, which I remember yesterday I accidentally called him the Chinese team. Apologies for that. It was dark. I had no clue what cars were driving.
Well, I think Canton of Valise, Canton, Cantonese.
There was something in there.
You could draw a bit of a connection there if you try really hard.
Yeah, but I think the reason why is the Valise car has like this weird quote on the side, which is like "so N" or something at the beginning, and I think I confused that. Maybe I started speculating it might be Asian or Chinese car.
Are you sure it's not just the name of the city, Sion?
No. Oh yeah, well maybe that would be a better excuse though to say. But it says like his so Valise on the side.
And speaking of that car, they are now being pushed away. So
yeah.
It would appear that yes, the marshals and the team got a little bit confused about how many runs you're allowed to do and how many runs have been done already.
Indeed, I'll check up, maybe ask for some clarification what it's about. But I think they had a similar confusion to what we had.
But meanwhile, KA Racing does line up for their second attempt.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tall order to beat the driverless time, which was super impressive. And the driver really has to get it together now. It has to be a sub 5 seconds in order to beat the driverless time. And he's not quite there yet. And off they go. All right, come on, make it a good one.
Yeah, driver building up very gradually to their optimal speed.
Yeah, looks better than the first run, that's for sure.
But it is unfortunately slower. It is a 5 point. Oh no, it's actually half a tenth faster.
Yeah, but not enough.
Well,
not enough to be the driverless.
5.140. So it is an improvement, but not quite enough to beat the driverless time.
No, so that's a point for the AI. They are finally taking over the world. Also, last year we saw the same thing. The driverless of Karlsruhe being quicker than the driver. So yeah, props to the driverless team at Karlsruhe.
And just one more car waiting in the queue here at the moment, doing the final checks with the scrutineers. Car number 36.
Do you know what car it is?
Of course I do, Matti.
Cannot quite see it from here. Will you also share it?
It is the car from Chemnitz, the ones who had the very
yeah,
impressive
yeah.
lighting yesterday night.
Did they also do some cool drifting yesterday? I think they also had their traction control switched off for the Crazy 20. Yeah, and then I hope we get some more cars. I see in the dynamic area some cars are making their way, hopefully to the Skidpad queue. We had a nice run of a few cars after each other right now, but it turned a little bit more silent. Of course, I have the car of Chemnitz now lining up, and I think this might be a pretty cool or spectacular Skidpad run, given how they were driving yesterday on the Crazy 20.
Well, let's see if the traction control is a little bit more active this time around.
No, it's set up relatively calmly. Very silent car as well. Speeding up, oh, and there we go. The driver really had to correct a lot. He's even changing hands on the steering wheel in order to get enough rotation.
Yeah, power sliding quite a bit.
Yeah, seems like a handful, that car. A lot of understeer and then followed by a big snap of oversteer when the driver goes on throttle.
Yeah, still managed to do under 6 seconds, a 5.89, and immediately going for their second attempt.
Oh wow, a sub 6 seconds Skidpad run, even with all those corrections.
Yeah, of course, with a couple of cones hit, probably the final time will be over 6 seconds.
Yeah, if this driver can get one smooth run in, then that might be a very good time.
Yeah, well, it's their final attempt now, so let's see what they can do.
They are running the Goodyear tire. So we've seen many teams with the Hoosier tire. But some of them run Goodyear. I think we have some Continentals as well. But yeah, look at the hands on the steering wheel of the driver. He's like fighting its way with the car, correcting at the middle of the skid pad. But this is clean. A clean right-hander.
And a much faster one as well.
And then into the left, unfortunately clipping a cone. Kind of like in the switch area.
Yeah, pushing it just a little bit too hard on the left-hand loop, not quite improving. But they do improve overall from a 5.89 to a 5.77.
Okay. Of course, cones will be added on the actual scoring. We can only see, or actually we don't know what's happening. But sometimes we see some cones and call them out. But we don't know for sure if some were hit or not. And that's why we have plenty of track marshals that actually keep track of these cones. And those will be added to the points tally at the end. And another car joining. We've seen them before with the transparent monocoque. 153, that was the team from Lemgo. I keep on forgetting how to pronounce it.
Yes, indeed. 153 is the team from Lemgo. And we are already 1 hour down, just under 2.5 hours left. And yeah, we've seen maybe 10, 11 teams out of 60 so far. So I'm sure, as yesterday, as always at FSG, there will be a bit of a mad scramble at the end to try to get your run in. And unfortunately, if you come too late, you will not be allowed to go. Plenty of time to do it now, though. So make your way on over to the skid pad. Make sure you get one time in, because any points is better than 0 points.
Yeah, I wonder what the team's strategy is now. I had a feeling they would do one acceleration run, then skid pad, and then wait it out maybe for acceleration, but I'm starting to doubt this now. Maybe they first do their acceleration runs and then come to skid pad. Of course, with the manual events, you have a bit more throughput in how many cars we can push through, so might be, you know, if they're gambling, then it might be better to gamble on the manual skid pads rather than the driverless stuff. At least for, you know, queuing and getting cars through. This driver from Lemgo 153 has an orange helmet, so a little tribute to the orange color from yesterday that was performing very well on the Skidpad.
Yeah, let's see if that helps them.
Good idea. And I also see that I think that's a car from Mannheim who did not manage to get going a few minutes ago. They're making their way back. That's nice to see. And then we also have E60. That was one of our first cars on the track, I think, from Weingarten. We're also, yeah, had quite a good run. For some reason, Lemgo car. They probably already had 2 runs, no? Lemgo. They're also making their way to the queue, but I think this time the officials are aware of the situation and won't let them run. Yeah, so
No, they have indeed had both of their runs. And indeed, this time the scrutineers do tell them to politely make their way out of the dynamic area.
Yeah, so this surprised me a little bit that we have 2 of these teams that, yeah, kind of make this mistake, because in the morning briefing, I'm pretty sure this is explained very well. Yeah, and it used to be, of course, in the past, you had 4 runs for the manual Skidpad. Back in the days when the driverless and the normal EV, so to say, were separated. And then you had 4 runs, so 2 runs per driver, and you could use 2 drivers. Of course, now the driverless is also a mandatory part in the competition. The rules changed a bit, and now you have 2 driverless Skidpad runs and 2 manual Skidpad runs. Still, they didn't quite read the rules or missed some of the briefings and thought they could get a 3rd and 4th run in. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit of confusion with the historic Skidpad yesterday, because of course their teams were allowed to have 4 runs and even 4 runs with the same driver. That is a special consideration being afforded to alumni teams, which occasionally, you know, come with very, very few people and not enough drivers to have 2 per discipline. I believe the 2 Delft teams, the 2 historic Delft teams, came with 4 people for 2 cars.
Yeah, one of the cars is run by 1 guy and also driven by 1 guy, more or less. I think yesterday some more people joined, so hopefully the team is expanding a little bit. They have a bit more room to play with in the coming days. Yeah, interesting. Having the 2 manual Skidpads makes it very sensitive for mistakes as well. You only have 1 driver and 2 attempts, which is not a lot. If you already make 1 mistake, then you only have 1 opportunity to really push. And that does make a difference. We've already seen a few drivers here make some mistakes, and then they have to do a banker lap in their 2nd one. And it's a bit of a drag race now between Weingarten and Mannheim, who will be ready first. I already see the T-cell blinking from Weingarten, so either that means they are ready or it means they are doing some tests, as I was explaining before. I think in this case they were just doing some tests. My guess would be that Mannheim would be the first to go, and I'm really curious to see them on track, because yesterday they were a bit unlucky on the driverless. We did see them on the Crazy 20, which was cool. And then a few minutes ago they were here as well in the queue, but didn't quite got it going. So I really hope now that we can finally see what they have to offer on the track. The car looks beautiful.
It does look very good indeed, but yes, like you say, they were that 1 team that yesterday were just in time to complete the pre-checks for the driverless Skidpad, but didn't have enough time to do the run itself. I think Vienna got ahead just before them. But they do now make their way over to the starting line, so let's see what kind of performance the car and the driver can deliver.
Yeah, it is moving, so that's already a good start. And will the driver go for the cautious approach, or will it just go full ham from the get-go? the cautious approach, which is probably the sensible thing to do. Nice, nice sound coming from the car.
Yeah, looking very smooth as well. A little bit of a steering wheel twitch there.
Yeah, small correction. The car was stepping out ever so slightly.
But the driver does seem to be going a little bit more cautiously on the left-hand side. It was a 6.0 on the right.
So I kind of hope for them.
It is a 5.9 on the left, 6.007 overall. So I think they can definitely hope for a sub 6 second time if the driver can piece it together nicely.
Yeah, I think if they go for a second run now, definitely they should be able to improve to a sub 6. And they are running, is that the Continental tire? We've also seen Goodyear before. And of course a lot of Hoosier tires. And off they go for their second run. Yes, that looks quicker. Come on.
Much smoother on the steering now
Again,
as well.
the correction.
Yeah, a little bit one, just as I say it.
5.7. Great improvement. That's 3/10.
Looking good on the left as well. Keeping it clean.
And it's a 5.6 overall. A 4/10 improvement. Well done by the driver. First, a safe lap. And then being able to push a bit more. Yeah. Round of applause from the team. I think they can be quite happy with that performance. And now
The driver seems to be a little bit frustrated for some reason, just rolling back to the scrutineering area.
I think that's default, right? Drivers always want to go quicker.
No, I think default already went.
Weingarten. They also had a really beautiful decoration yesterday. But this time it's about speed.
Indeed, and they had a 5.6 on their first attempt. Let's see if they can improve here. Right-hander was already a 5.4. And a 5.3 on the left, 5.35 overall.
Nice. It's one of the faster cars we've seen so far now. And this should be their final run then. Yeah, it was interesting to see on the bump there onto the left. Probably one of the tires got slightly unloaded and started spinning. So then my guess would be they're not running too much traction control on that car. Or at least it's not used to handling bumps. And what else do we have there? We have a non-aero car. Not on track, but in the queue. Can we figure out which one it is from this distance? Then we also have car 149 in the queue. I'll maybe do a little walk to see the cars up close.
149 is the car from Erlangen.
Have we seen Erlangen yesterday?
I don't think we have, no.
I can't quite remember. Yeah, probably in the Crazy 20. And the non-aero car over there. I'll have a look. And yesterday in the historic, we actually saw really good performances of cars without the aero. It is ready to go. I find it hard to, normally the numbers of the car, they are of course on side pods or end plates. In this case it's slightly harder. I think it's number 17.
If it's 17, is it the team from Cluj coming back for their second run?
Yes, correctly. They did. Was it? Ah, yeah, they did the very first run of the day, didn't they? They also running the Continental tires. They look extremely clean and very grippy. They do have some really nice side pods, and I think they have some kind of diffuser built in. Said to the officials that they are ready to go, so this will indeed be their second run then. Oh, really cool T-cell sound from them. What was their time? They had somewhere in the 6 seconds, no?
It was a 6.53, 6.636 on their first attempt. Well, let's see now, the track is a little bit warmer. The driver, of course, already did one run, if it's the same driver indeed. Let's see if they can improve.
Yeah, temperatures are picking up ever so slightly. Maybe there's just a little bit more rubber on there. So let's see if they can improve. Of course, it will only be one run, which is quite tricky. As a driver, you immediately need to perform, immediately be on pace, which is not easy. Nice to see them back.
You think like in a car that is perfectly designed, Matti, would it be as simple as just flooring the gas and letting the traction control do all the work?
I wish it was, but no. You always need to balance out the kind of like lateral movement of the car still. You can have perfect grip and still kind of run wide in a corner. Something we actually see with the driverless cars. So maybe they have the, the perfect setup, but still run wide and start clipping cones. So unfortunately, there's still a little bit of work to do. Nice bit of wheel spin at the start. Fortunately, clipping a cone on entry of the first right-hander.
Yeah, I feel like that happened on their first run as well.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, you see that sometimes with cars that are a bit understeery, that if you shave off the corner a bit too quick, you clip the cones with your rear tire. And you see this more often actually with non-aero cars.
But despite that, they do improve by 0.4 to a 6.2.
6.2. I think they can be pretty proud of that. For a non-aero car, that's definitely getting close to the 6-second mark. It's quite an achievement. And this is also for them the last run for the Skidpad today. I hear the car from Erlangen making its way. This time a car with aero package. Let's see, is this their first run then?
Yes, it is.
All right, let's see if they can immediately get a competitive one, if they will do 2 runs or 1 run. We've seen many different strategies so far. So yeah, hard to speculate what they will do. They are ready. I would guess this would be, I'm gonna guess for 5.5.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere in that 5.5 to 6 second region.
Yeah, odd noises though from the car. A little bit of clipping. Maybe that's the traction control kind of doing its work.
Yeah, quite a lot of steering adjustments from the driver as well.
Yeah, oh, nice slide just in front of us, giving a little bit of a show. But is it also quick? We're waiting a little bit on the timing.
Yeah, a bit of a delay there. It is a 5.65.
All right, all right. I was quite close, but so are you. They do not go for the second. I find it so interesting.
Right, because when you only have 2 runs, you'd think that when the tires are the warmest and when the feeling of the driver is the freshest, you think that would be the time to do your final attempt.
Yeah, indeed. On the other hand, now they have the opportunity to look at the data, figure out what's wrong, and maybe, or figure out what can be better. But yeah, you do lose a bit of grip, and certainly now it's not too hot here. So you really need to get every degree of temperature you can get into your tires is worth so much. And also timing-wise, I'm not sure if they already did a driverless acceleration, so how they are on managing their time. It's still 2 hours to go, so no panic just yet, but yeah, at some point time goes quick. And another car in the queue. It's a bit of blue-black shade. It could be Tallinn, but I cannot see the number from here. Too many people around. It's 242.
242 is the competitor.
I don't think that's Tallinn.
No, it is Darmstadt.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, we saw them yesterday as well, of course. Getting more and more acquainted with the numbers and the cars and all the liveries. Every year again, we have to learn it a bit. Some teams remain very constant in their liveries. And I'm thinking about Karlsruhe, Ulm, having the same thing. But other teams, they change quite a bit of livery, and so and we have to learn again. But by the time of autocross and endurance, we usually know them quite well. 242, Darmstadt will be next, and then we have the 7.5 car, which is
7.5 is the car from,
and they're both doing their first runs.
It is the first run. 7.5 is the car from Ravensburg.
Oh yeah, is that GFR? Ravensburg?
Ravensburg DHBW, I think it is.
Yeah. GFR. And they used to come here with both a combustion car and an electric car. It's a collaboration between Oregon State and Ravensburg, so US and Germany collaborating on making the cars. So it used to be 2 cars that they make. Of course, at some point FSG became EV only, and now it's more of a collaboration, working on the same car. As far as I remember, they kind of like split up the work. So for example, chassis is responsibility of one team, vehicle dynamics of the other. But must be quite tricky to get that collaboration right. But yeah, they're doing very well in all of the years, so they got it right. That's nice to see.
I mean, I think in the Historic Cup there is a combustion car from GFR, so we might still get to see some combustion action on track later on.
Really? We haven't seen them yesterday, I think, the GFR combustion. Okay. Yeah, it might be really cool. They had really cool combustion cars with big wings. I remember the 13 and 14 car who had rear wings that went over 90 degrees at the end of the wing. That was crazy. Talking about crazy, 242 Dortmund, or Darmstadt, sorry, making its way. They had some really cool lighting as well yesterday. But now it's for real. This is their first run. I'm so curious to see, will they do a second run or will they go later again? Tentative start, and immediately on throttle. So waited for the bump a bit, and
yes,
then I think this is one of the more aggressive starts we've seen, and quick.
Looking very quick.
Yeah, car has a really cool style. It's kind of drifting a little bit, but the driver has it all under control.
Will it be the first sub 5 second time? Not quite, 5.27.
All right.
But let's see if they go again immediately.
I'm curious.
We might see an improvement to under 5.
No.
Also no.
Yeah, they know something more than we do. Because they're opting. Yeah, now I'm very curious to see the drivers that are going for their second run in an hour or so, if they will manage to improve and by how much.
And if they manage to get a second run in at all.
True.
Yes, again, over 60 cars through scrutineering. We've only seen about 15 of them so far. So quite a bit of a traffic jam, quite a bit of a rush coming later on, I'm suspecting. And at this pace, I'm not sure whether everybody will be able to get their runs in.
Yeah, and behind us is the test track for DV, and I see the Zurich car is practicing the what is it? The autocross or the track drive. Looks pretty cool. To see it drive without a driver on a pretty random track. So yeah, they still found the time to just go to the practice track before doing the skid pad. They seem to be quite comfortable in time. I don't know. I would get a little stressed, to be honest.
I mean, I think obviously, of course, all of the teams are also assessing the situation in the queue, and they think, okay, well, how long will it take us to do if we go right now? The issue is, all of the teams think they have plenty of time, none of them come, and then all of a sudden there's half an hour left and all of them still have to go. They can get 50 teams trying to go when there's only time for 10 or 15.
Yeah, indeed. If all the cars will do a run as we suspect, then it will get busy. For now, pretty calm, but we do have GFR on track. They have a really cool, what is it called, a bull wing, kind of an extra wing on the side, which makes getting out of the car very difficult, but hopefully it also adds some performance. We see it with a lot of cars, and it's usually the first wing that gets destroyed in an egress. Building up the speed, nothing too crazy, but the car looks very stable. No corrections, very clean so far.
It is a 5.57.
Okay, so they're also joining the 5.5 club. A bit of a wider line, so this is definitely the banker lap for them.
It's a pretty good banker, 5.521.
But it gives you the first 90% of the points.
And again, the driver electing not to do their second run yet.
What's happening? Are they briefed that they cannot do a second run after each other, or? I really don't understand. Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll be proven wrong again, and then there's plenty of time for all the runs. We should do a little analysis. How many cars we still expect? Of course, the ones that already went and did 2 runs, we won't see them back again. In contrast to in the past years.
Except in the case of Sion, we did get to see them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, some will make it to the queue, but I think by now the officials are aware of the situation and will not let them go again.
Speaking of the car from Sion, we do see them now on the test track, so preparing for the dynamic events to come later in the day. And 2 cars in the queue at the moment. One is TU Darmstadt, or sorry, TU Dortmund. And just ahead of them doing their final checks. Matti, maybe you can take a closer look. The scrutineers are obstructing the view from here somewhat.
Yeah, I'm on my way. It looks like it's a black car with some yellow accents. It's not Ulm, it's also not Karlsruhe. It is, I think, E64. And I'll get a closer look to see which university that is. Yeah, and super cool livery on the Dortmund car, right? They're really done a great job this year. It's a British team from Bath. We also saw them yesterday on Crazy 20, making their first appearance on FSG25. They are one of the few UK teams that we have here, I think this year. The first one I've seen at least making an appearance on FSG. This year, that is.
It could be arguably the best British team at FSG.
Well, if they're the only ones setting a time, then yes, definitely. Yesterday they also had a pretty nice decoration and spectacular run on the Crazy 20. Hopefully they can replicate that speed, but keep it clean. I think the BAF team is making its way to the starting line of the Skidpad. They used to be very good at making combustion cars. At some point, of course, they also had to switch to the electric version. On the rear wing, it says 80 kilowatt. That's a pretty funny note. They're also running the smaller Hoosier tires. And let's see what they can do. Driver carrying quite some speed into the second right-hander. It's a 5.8 on the right. Really distinctive noise as well from the gearbox or the differential. And it's a 5.6.
Yeah, big improvement on the left-hander, 5.4.
Yeah, 4/10 difference, so kind of indicates that there's more to be found. And they are going for their second run. So they believe that the tires do get better and also getting into the rhythm. Already you can see, because there's a 4/10 difference between right and left, how important it is for the driver to get into that rhythm of the Skidpad. Can they bring this time down? A lot more ambitious now from the driver. It's a good sign. I also hear some tires squeaking already.
Well, it's looking a lot faster, and it is a 5.3 already.
Yeah, big improvement on the right-hander. Will the left-hander be even quicker? It is.
It is, and it's a 5.321.
Yeah, it's one of the better lap times we've seen.
And again, it shows the value of going for your second run immediately. It's from a 5.6 to a 5.3, 3/10 improvement.
So now we have a car from Dortmund, which has been instructed to come closer, and then if the track is okay, move to go forward to the start line of the Skidpad. Behind them is DHBW Stuttgart, and behind DHBW is Prague. So we have 3 super fast cars lined up now. Will we see our first sub-5 Skidpad in the coming 10 minutes? I think so.
I would hope so. But first, let's see if Dortmund can't beat that time.
Oh yeah, driver immediately going for it. This is their first run, right, Igor?
Indeed.
Yeah, and he's not, he's not waiting for the second run. Immediately pushing. 5.2 on the first right-hander. That's good.
And the left-hander does look even faster than that.
Oh yeah, we hear some tires, so the driver definitely on the limit.
Yeah, 5.179.
That's good. Will they go for a second run or not? I see the team members getting ready, so I think they will postpone their second run.
Yes, indeed they do.
All right, DHBW Stuttgart, with their beautiful yellow highlight on the front wing. They had some LEDs on there yesterday, a crazy 20. This might be our first sub-5, I think.
Geilo.
If the drivers immediately going for it, then we might already see it in the first run. Of course, we do not know the track conditions, so we might be proven wrong.
Unfortunately, they did DNF on both of their driverless Skidpad attempts yesterday, so we don't really have a benchmark to compare against. The driver taking it gentle over the bump.
Yeah, getting up to speed in the first right-hander. They're sliding a bit big correction actually. And I think the driver missed, he did only one right-hander. So this will count as a DNF unfortunately.
But a 5.22.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
no, there we go, 5.27. They did do all of their necessary laps.
Not the sub-5 we were expecting.
No.
Maybe driver's a little bit nervous for his first dynamic event of FSG 2025.
But maybe now, electing to go for the second run immediately.
Yeah, I hope they will tell him that he only did one right-hander.
No, I think they did all 4.
Oh, he did? Okay, then it's just a timing. My apologies.
Again, very tentative over the bump, but speeding up afterwards.
Yeah, cautious.
Very cautious. A 6.3 and then a 5.5. And they do improve to a 5.0 on the left-hand loop. Unfortunately, with the right hand, that is only enough for 5.291.
Yeah, 4/10 difference between right and left. That's a lot. So is that the track or is that the driver? I'm not sure. But that's their run for Skidpad FSG 2025. And we have the red and blue livery car from Prague. Fourth, ready to get going. The driver's really eager, looking around, figuring out why he cannot start yet. They're just quickly kind of rebuilding the exit so it's a bit more clear for the drivers. Yeah, but already you saw 5.09 on the left, so the potential is there. But of course, in only 2 Skidpad runs, it's tricky to get it right. And it was really the Barcelona car at the very beginning who still set the best lap time so far. And this is the first run for the Prague team.
Yeah, so far, the time to beat is 5.115, indeed, by Barcelona.
And I again wonder, this driver, will he push immediately or do banker lap? They all go very slow over the first bump. I think that's mostly to protect their car.
Yeah, this car had a 5.565 yesterday in the driverless Skidpad.
Yeah, the car definitely sliding around. think on the right-hander it's like some kind of bump or something dirty on the track, because every car is at the same point sliding. Also on the left-hander now.
But it is a very good 5.217, so already faster than the DV.
Yeah, but almost 2/10 difference between right and left. It does really feel like something on the right-hander is keeping them from going quicker. But I think with Barcelona, actually the right-hander was the quickest. So hard to find correlation there. This visibly looks quicker, but the car is sliding around a lot and they hit a cone on the outside even.
Yeah, 5.1 already. 4.9 on the banker, to the left-hand side. And a 4.93 for a 5.035, our new fastest time of the day. Well done, Prague.
Yeah, unfortunately with a few cones, but yeah, looks really impressive. I think the driver just made a mistake on the right-hander, sliding a bit too far outwards. It's a fast car, that's clear.
And we're definitely inching slowly but surely towards those sub 5-second times. Who do we have up in the queue next, Marty, that will be challenging for that time?
I think it's the Taiwanese team from Xinhui, probably mispronouncing it. Apologies for that. And we also have, that's Erlangen again. Oh, we've seen them before.
Yeah, it was a 5.654 on their first attempt, and they decided not to do their second run immediately at that point. Let's see if that is going to pay off.
Speeding up, going for that approach. Clean, clean. Will it also be fast? 5.5, yes.
Yeah, a 10.5 improvement over their first attempt.
Driver really working the car around.
But it does pay off. It is a 5.4, a 2.5 improvement over their first run.
National Tsinghua University trying to do some tire heating, not sure how much use it has on these slow speeds, or maybe just a bit of tire cleaning.
Well, like you said, Martin, track will every 10 matters.
True, true. I said that indeed. Off they go. Oh yeah, driver immediately going for it. Sliding its way. Hopefully finds a nice space now. Yes, this looks quick, this looks quick.
Very smooth.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
4.9 on their
quickest right-hander, and it's the first lap of the driver even, so wow.
And there it is, the first sub 5 second, 4.872.
All the way from Taiwan to smash the Skidpad time here. It's great. Will they go for a second run or not?
Well, hopefully.
Very curious.
Memory is fresh.
Yes, they will. Okay, so they should be able to get this down even further. Will we expect a 4.7? I'm betting that.
I think 4.73.
And there they go, even quicker. Oh, this is a good driver. It's quick, but not losing any control. It sometimes seems as if the car is going to slide, but then it still sticks. Amazing to see.
4.78.
Yes, and the right-hander is the slow one. How quick is that car going? Oh, giving it a show.
4.808.
Not quite the 4.7 we were hoping for. I think the driver left a little bit on the table on the left one, but yes, super quick time from then. Looked clean to me. So they can be very proud of that run.
Fastest run of the day so far. Well done, Taiwan.
Yeah, now I'm also very much looking forward to see them on the autocross and endurance, because the driver looks good and the car looks absolutely planted. With the team from Stockholm joining us also for their first run on the Skidpad. The 171 with a safety car on the rear.
Yes, unfortunately they did DNF both of their driverless Skidpad runs yesterday, but one of them they did do all 4 loops in, and that was an 11.7.
All right, they should be able to beat that with a driver. Of course, you never know. Driver had to correct in the switch, kind of, but that worked well for them. Looks like
6.0 on the right hand.
Yeah, they're aiming to join the 6-second club. A very popular timing, accelerating on exit. And yeah, it seems to pay off. 3/10 quicker on the left, which brings them to a 5.9, so below the 6-second benchmark. They opt also not to go again. It's only 1.5 hours, 1 hour and 40 minutes left, and yeah, I mean, the queue is building up. Look at it, Diego. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars currently in the queue. And we do expect a lot more, so things are gonna get wild. I'll have a little walk down the queue again to see what cars we can expect. We have the Dortmund car here ready for their second run. We also have a new car on the field I haven't seen before, from Porto. Beautiful livery that they're running. Also running the small Hoosier tires, so curious what they will do. They're running without the aero package, so then it's always exciting to see if they can match the cars with aero on something like a Skidpad. Then we have another team from Barcelona, UPC EEBE, Barcelona, car number 79. We haven't seen them before. A lot of cars that we haven't seen before, by the way. Number 19 from TU Braunschweig, with always their lion on there, because I think the name of the team is Lions Racing. They run very small sidewall Continental tires. Haven't seen them before. And then yeah, we have the 31 car from TU Munich, TU Fast. They had a very quick run yesterday on the Crazy 20. I think they also had a pretty decent driverless Skidpad. And also their historic colleagues were extremely quick yesterday on the Skidpad, so promising.
Yeah, it was a 5.885 yesterday for them at the driverless Skidpad.
And we have Porto ready on the starting line. First appearance they're making here, I think, on FSG25. I have not seen them yesterday.
Indeed, their first dynamic event.
And yeah, driver really pushing it already. So that looks promising. Car looks quick, relatively stable. It's not stepping out, something we see sometimes. Takes it cautiously in the switch.
Pushing just a little bit more on the second left-hand loop. It is a 6.175.
Great first lap. Again, 4/10 difference between right and left, so you really see the effect of tires heating up and the driver getting acquainted. Well, of course, there is a bit of a difference, but in the quickest times we've seen, actually the right-hander was quicker than left.
I think that was only for Barcelona. For the Taiwanese team, I believe their left-hander was considerably faster.
No, actually it was also the right one. On the first one, the left was quicker indeed, but on their second, the right one was. Will they go below the 6-second mark? The team from Porto, on the right-hander.
They're already on the cusp, 6.021 on the right hand.
So if they can improve just a little bit on left, then we'll be able to get it. Yes, they do. 5.94 for a non-aero car. That's extremely impressive. Well done by the driver, an improvement of 2/10. And that is Dortmund ready for their second run. So now I'm very curious to see, will they be able to improve, because they opted to go out of the, after the first run, stop it. And driver really pushing.
In the first run, they were already very close to a sub 5 second. They had a 5.179. And 5.169 so far on the right hand. And they do improve to a 5.139.
So that's an improvement of 500ths of a second?
400ths exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced by exiting the queue, unless of course they had to change some settings. But maybe some other cars will prove us wrong. Some other cars that we have in the queue is also the team from Lisbon, ready for their first run. And then we have 253 from Kiel, followed by, getting pushed in, is the team from Dresden, of course, also making themselves ready for a Skidpad. And then the team from Barcelona that I mentioned earlier, the other team from Barcelona, got some problem in the queue and got sent back, and they're re-queuing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars currently in the queue.
And now we see Braunschweig Lines Racing approaching the starting line. I think the first time we saw them driving was yesterday at the Crazy 20. Let's see what they can do on the Skidpad.
Building up the speed through the first right-hander. Are they aiming for a 6 second?
Very close to it, 6.18. And you're on the dot, Matti, 6.06.
Yeah, it's a 6 second mark is really a very popular time for many of these teams.
Yeah, we still haven't done the math, what meters per second that translates to.
No, it was a bit late yesterday after the Crazy 20. But maybe today we have a bit more time, although I'm afraid probably not going to be the case. And also they are opting not to do their second run. No. We have a very, I suspect this to be a fast car. They were also super quick in the Crazy 20. Let's see how they will go. TU fast team.
It was a 5.885 without a driver yesterday. And already looking quicker than that now.
It looks very clean and controlled. It can be a good sign.
A 4.94 on the right hand. And it is looking faster on the left hand side. 4.909.
It's a really good start. Very close to what the Taiwanese team did just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, they're exactly a 1/10 off of Taiwan's time. So let's see if the driver can find that extra 10th on their second attempt.
Yeah, they are going immediately for their second run, which I think definitely makes sense. Driver got a banker in. Will he go a bit more wild now? I really hope so. But keeping it very controlled. That's nice to see. Professional. It does seem to struggle a little bit over the bumps.
Struggling perhaps, but does go faster, 4.8.
Wow.
Ooh, and just a little bit not fast enough on the left hand. It is a 4.824, still a very good time. Second fastest time of the day.
Wow, and that just goes to show how quick that car from Taiwan really was. They were really pushing hard. And yeah, at the moment they have the top spot.
Yeah, and once again, Matti, your theory that the fastest time is faster on the right holds true. TU Fast going faster on the right-hand loop.
That's weird, eh? The kind of like the slower cars, or at least the cars that are in the 5 seconds, they have a slower right and left, and then the ones that go below 5, they do the opposite. So maybe there's some secret that these teams know that the others don't, enable them to go faster.
Now we have number 7 from Lisbon going on their first attempt.
Lovely car.
Not hearing any chants from the audience, but I'm sure once they finish, we will get a bit of a sound wave.
Yeah, indeed. Normally we get this singing, right? Sliding a little bit, just starting their second left.
But keeping it clean on the loop that counts. That is a
5.3. Will they go for the second run? I kind of hope so. I mean, there's not that much time.
The team
Probably
members
discussing.
are not indicating an early exit, so let's see if they go for number 2. Yes, they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good banker time, but I do have a feeling they can shave off a few tenths. Although left and right were quite consistent, so it indicates to me that driver's doing a good job.
And only 1.5 hours remaining for the manual skid pad. The queue is a little bit emptier at the moment, so if you want to be sure to get a run in, make your way over here as Lisbon sets off on run number 2. A big improvement to a 5.0 on the right hand. Bit of a slide on the first left-hand loop. And another 5.0 for 5.084.
Yeah, that's more than 2 tenths improvement. And that's what I think, if you immediately do your second run, we see improvements of 2 tenths.
And once again, right-hand loop faster than the left-hand loop.
So that's just a secret. Just, you know, do your right hand quicker than left, and you win.
Could it be a bit of a, you know, you do your first right-hander and your first tentative trying to find the limit. On the left-hander, on your first run, you get closer to that limit. On the right-hander, on your second run, you get to that limit, and then you think you can keep pushing, but on the second left-hander, you go just that little bit over.
That might be a valid theory indeed. I mean, it must be something. But yeah, visually, look here on the left, there's quite a big bump. So my feeling would be that, yeah, that must slow the cars down a bit. But for some reason, everyone likes left better, apart from the 2 fastest times.
Yeah, it didn't slow down Kiel at all. Faster on the left-hand side, and a 4.992 on their first attempt.
And that's their first attempt indeed.
But what color do we see on the car, Matti?
It's the orange again.
There you go.
We haven't seen many orange cars today.
No, not too many.
An orange helmet, yes. And I think even this is one of the first orange tinted ones.
Well, we had TU Fast already, of course.
Of course, yeah.
And
And
they did set the
them,
second fastest time, so Orange doing pretty well so far. Let's see if they can improve even more, the car from Kiel.
Maybe we should start a workshop, you know, how to design your livery for next year.
Looking very good on the right hand, 4.9.
Unfortunately, clipping a few cones here on the outside, but it is quick.
But it is quicker on the right, but they do improve overall to a 4.97. Well done, Kiel.
Yeah, not an insane improvement, so we also need to be honest to ourselves. In this case, having the second run immediately after it did not gain them an insane amount, but I have a feeling the driver was already on the limit in the first run. Unfortunately, pushing it just a bit too much at the end. And this is the other car from Barcelona. At the very beginning of the day, we had a car from Barcelona. This is UPC EEBE, not sure what it stands for. This is the car 79.
Yeah,
Some really nice green accents.
Yeah. Also the first time we're seeing them on the dynamics, unless they did autonomous acceleration, we're not sure. The car looking a bit twitchy, the driver having to do a lot of steering adjustments and throttle adjustments.
Yeah, the throttle seems to be very sensitive on that car. Even some wheels spinning when the driver goes on throttle.
Yeah, picked up a cone there in the transition.
But it's really not too bad. They're aiming for the 6-second Skidpad.
And they get it, 6.059.
Big cheers from the crowd.
And this was their first attempt, of course. So let's see if they decide to do their second one immediately.
Yeah, driver asking the team, should I do a second or not? And they say, yeah, let's go. Right, they did clip a cone, so if you can make this a clean one, then they really have some points in the bag.
Yeah, they need to keep it clean, and if the driver has settled in a little bit, found a good position for the throttle, good steering input, I think they could easily go sub 6 seconds.
Let's hope you are right, Igor. But it does seem like it's very hard to control the throttle on this car.
But it is looking smoother this time around.
Yes, the driver found its way.
5.7.
Wow, 3/10 improvement, that's crazy. Wow, power slide. Come on, if he can get it together now.
And they do, 5.744.
3/10 improvement. Really good job by the driver, and the crowd is loving it.
So it is, yes, that 2/10 to 3/10 improvement that we see if the driver decides to go for the second run immediately, if they're not already on the limit, of course, as we see GFR come back for their second attempt. Their first run was a 5.521, so let's see how much they can improve on it.
It looks quick. Driver definitely pushing. Also clean, no drama.
Big improvement already, 5.26.
Going slightly wide.
A little bit too wide. Clipping 2 cones there on the exit, but it was an improvement overall, 5.3.
Yeah, indeed. So they are proving us wrong. They split their runs, but still managed to get an improvement in time. Of course, they clipped a few cones. Not sure if their first one was clean or not. The driver definitely managed to improve.
Now we see car number 197, Franken Racing from Schweinfurt. They were one of the cars that set a time in the autonomous Skidpad yesterday. That was a 6.843.
Okay, usually manual Skidpad should be able to beat that time, but you never know. Cautiously kicking off the Skidpad, but it looks very controlled. Cool, distinctive noise coming from that car. And how far is it off from the driverless time so far?
That's pretty close. It is a 6.0 and a 5.7. Oh, 1 second improvement, 5.89.
Wow.
It was a very tentative first right-hander, 7.2, but the driver did find their comfort zone after that, and let's see if they can improve even more on their second attempt. Setting off a little bit more aggressively this time.
Yeah, you really saw the car speeding up in the first run, lap by lap. I had to correct, unfortunately. You see that a lot of cars have to do that in the right-hander.
Yeah, thankfully still a good improvement to a 5.7.
Wow.
And a 5.47 for a 5.58 overall time.
Yeah, 3/10 improvement. That's a really good job by the driver. Well done. Stockholm. Wow, we saw them like a few minutes ago.
Yes, indeed. They had a 5.90. Maybe they had the car settings tuned down a little bit, and they felt, okay, we have a banker in, now we can tune it up to the max. Let's see whether whatever changes they made have helped.
This is their final run here. Really trying to push. An improvement.
3/10, 2.5 tenths. Good improvement on the left-hand side as well. And again, a 2.5 improvement to a 5.66.
Right, so they did split up the runs and also managed to improve. So maybe in the end it doesn't matter too much. I think maybe it's all up to the driver how he or she likes it. Whether it's a driver that likes to be in the flow or if it's a driver that can immediately get to the limit whenever needed.
Push it to the limit.
To the limit, but often it ends up being over the limit when they do so. So far, quite clean driving. We haven't seen much drama on track. A few slides left and right. Some cones being, let's say, kissed. But all in all, everyone's driving very, very cleanly.
No, indeed, and the timing crew does feel a little bit more secure today. They have brought out a little more timing equipment that they feel safe with around the drivers as opposed to the driverless vehicles yesterday. But let's see now, car number 101.
Horsepower Hannover, I think. Beautiful car. Some very distinct colors in there.
With pretty distinct noise as well.
This is their first run and immediately they go very quick. Cool noise in the car. The driver having to make some corrections along the way, but
5.4 on the right hand.
Oh, nice slide here just in front of us. Driver really on the limit.
And a 5.0 on the left-hand loop, 5.25 overall.
Yeah, so they are lead on the left super quick. So will they go for a second run? They will. And now I'm very curious to see can the driver match what he did on the left hand now on the right hand and maybe improve. That might just be able to get them below 5 seconds.
Yeah, so if they can string a perfect 2 laps together, should be able to go sub 5.
Come on, let's pray for them. Looks good, very steady and quick.
It's a 5.4 though on the banker. 5.15, good improvement.
Yeah, that's 0.3 better.
Let's see if they can do the same on the left.
Going
a little bit wide there. And the exact same time on the left-hand loop, 5.088. But the faster right-hand loop does give them an improvement to a 5.12.
Yeah, more than a 10th improvement, impressive. 5.1, that's up there with some of the best teams we've seen so far.
Now we have Diepholz coming back for the 3rd time, but of course the first time around they did not start. They went back to the start of the queue. And I'm looking at the first run. It was a D and F. I believe it's because they forgot to do a second left-hand loop. Good on the right hand, improvement of 0.2.
Yeah, it looks very steady, but it is quick. 5.4 on the right, and what on the left?
5.376.
Yeah, and again about 0.2 difference between right and left. We see this so often with cars that are driving around the 5.5 second mark that there's quite a bit of difference between right and left. And the fastest 3 cars that we have seen, they are able to make the right one faster than left. So this is worth a more in-depth analysis why that is.
Let's see who we have up next. It will be either car number 95 from Chalmers, or more likely, judging by the tractive system light. Mate, can you make out the number?
And do you mean the first one that's in the queue right now? I'll have a closer look. I see an H on there, but I assume that's not from the number. It's probably one of the sponsors. Yeah, there are quite a lot of people around it, so I'm having a hard time seeing the number because they're doing all these pre-checks. The car, it has a really cool livery, and maybe also some orange accents. And you know what that means. The last number is a 4. I can see that. I think it's 94 or 84.
Well, 94 would be Esslingen, and
it is 84. apologies.
In that case, it is the entrant from Hanover.
Oh, yeah. Talking about 94, we have car 95 on track. The beautiful car from Chalmers. They always spend a lot of time, I think, getting a really nice livery on there.
Yeah, they were one of the faster cars in the autonomous acceleration. 5.5.
And what was their DV Skidpad time? I think they were the first ones to break the 5-second mark. So the driver is quite a challenge ahead of him to beat the driverless one.
Yeah, it was a 4.968 on the Skidpad.
5.2 in its first right-hander. As we have seen, left is sometimes quicker.
And it was indeed quicker, 5.136. It's still 0.2 off the driverless Skidpad time yesterday.
Wow. So far, the AI ahead of the human driver. We're here in, I think it's Esslingen on the test track. Russians for this correctly. Off they go again, Chalmers for their second and final run. They have a few tenths to make up in order to beat their driverless system. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, that's fast. They are fast enough on the right hand. Let's see if they can do it on the left as well. 4.896. That is a 0.07 of a second improvement on the driverless time.
Yeah, so the driver managed to beat his driverless colleague. That's nice to see. And I'm so surprised by the crazy gains they're getting in the second run. 2-3 tenths, almost every team is improving. 84 UAS Hanover. They do have some orange accents on there. They also have an H on there. H. It's not from yesterday.
Probably from Hanover.
Oh yeah, of course.
Let's see, this is 6.14 on the left-hander, 5.77 on the right. Sorry, 6.1 on the right-hander, 5.744 on the left for overall 5.9.
Yeah, that brings them sub 6 seconds. They are not opting to go for a second run. Interestingly, looking at the queue, that's could still be okay. Let's hope for them that they can still make it. Oh, wow, look at this car. UAS Pforzheim. They even have a nice flower on their head plate.
Yeah, lovely roads.
Not sure if it has any reference to a university or city. I like these pink accents, yeah, really cool.
Oh, we were mentioning yesterday there's a lack, a distinct lack of pink this year.
Yeah, true.
So maybe they heard us.
This looks good. The driver have a very steady right-hander. Started off immediately on a good pace. Unfortunately, clipping a cone there. But this will give a nice indication to the driver what the car is capable of. I think that's a 5.3 on average. And he or she is going for the second run.
The car did look pretty stiff. I think I saw a beat lifting off the car.
Oh, really? Yeah, there's one section where like there's a lot of elevation change. So indeed, if you have a slightly stiff suspension, that's the point where the wheel might lift. We saw some other cars before also spinning their tires, so definitely some unloading tire happening. The driver's definitely pushing. It is a slight improvement on the right. Can he bring it home now without a cone?
Yes, they can. It is a 5.3. So not a 2/10 or 3/10 improvement that we saw in the past, only 400ths, but an improvement nonetheless.
True. Maybe the driver noticed that he hit a cone in the first one and thought, okay, I have to do another safe banker. Rightly so. I mean, 5.3, that's a really good time and will give them plenty of points. On the rear it says stupid. I guess that's a reference to keep it simple and stupid, which is often a good way to get things to work. I'll have a closer look at the car. I like their livery.
Side, we have car number 399 approaching the start line, another one of the black and yellow contenders. And it is, well, I hesitate to call them the other Karlsruhe, but it is high-speed Karlsruhe. Very high speed indeed.
Yeah, that looks quick and also very controlled, certainly on the right hand. 4.9 on the first attempt, so to say. Wow. 4.83
on their first run as well.
Yeah, and the best left-hander we've seen so far.
Indeed, 4.761.
Yes, and they're going for a second run, so we might be in for one of the fastest times so far. I'm standing coincidentally close to the team, and they're excited to see what's happening. Of course, already very happy with this performance.
And let's see if they'll be faster on the right or the left. Very hesitant at first, though. It does seem like the car is having some trouble, unfortunately.
Hopefully they can figure it out. He does, because this time does not count. Hopefully it doesn't bring the driver out of focus. The driver apparently is called Christian. That's clean. It's quicker.
Yeah, 300's improvement.
Yeah, even though he had a little kerfuffle at the beginning. Oh! They did it.
The new fastest time of the day, 4.77.
Yeah, and that's the first time into the 4.7s, right?
Indeed, and also the first time into the 4.6s on the left-hand loop.
Yeah, what I find so impressive is how controlled it looked. Almost didn't look fast, but it was extremely fast. I think that's the way how to do a nice Skidpad. Congratulations to the US Karlsruhe team so far. And yeah, they're the ones beating the Taiwanese team, right?
Indeed. They take over the provisional pole.
I would have loved to see
them for their second run. Looking very quick. Also a sub 5 second right-hander, 4.909. Driver just keeping it controlled enough. A bit of a power slide. And it is a 4.854 for running snail.
Yeah, kudos by the way to the officials. I'm standing here at post-scrutiny, and things are going really quick and efficient. So that allows the cars to immediately go re-queue in another dynamic event.
Well, speaking of re-queuing and dynamic events, only 1 hour left on both the autonomous acceleration and the manual Skidpad. I think we've maybe seen about half the teams have a go so far, so still plenty of action to come. We see 3 more cars making their way over into the queue. Car number 41, car number 124, and car number 62, 92? My eyesight isn't quite as good as it used to be, but we will let you know when they approach the start line. Meanwhile, the car actually at the start line is car number 22 from your home nation, Matti, KU Leuven.
Yes, they did, yeah, I think a really decent job yesterday with the driverless. Not sure if they managed to wrap up a time. We also saw them in the crazy 20. And in my opinion, they seemed like they got together a really fast car. So let's see if they can also execute it to the fullest.
Unfortunately, they DNF'd on both of their autonomous Skidpad attempts yesterday.
5.4 to start with, that's a good baseline. And quite consistent, 5.3 on the left, that brings them to a 5.37.
Yeah, good banker lap. Look clean. Let's see if they can accelerate even more. They do indeed decide to go their second run immediately.
And this driver is Lucan, and apparently his nickname is Little Sheriff. So he has a really nice banker lap. Let's see if he can push it now. Speeding up. Yeah, definitely speeding up on the right-hander now. Can he keep this speed? Car is struggling to keep it gripped.
He does manage though, 5.1 on the right-hander, 0.3 improvement. Did seem to slow down a little bit on the entry into the timed second left-hand loop. And it is a little bit slower, 5.246, but an overall improvement of 0.2, 5.17.
Yeah, from the timing screen here, it does seem like also the left improved. Not sure. Of course, these are only just displays showing the time. Not sure what the official one is.
No, indeed, the left-hander did improve, but the right-hander was faster.
And I also quickly spoke to the Karlsruhe driver, and yeah, of course he was happy, but he was also frustrated because he forgot to put on the GoPro.
Well, I'm sure the live stream will have plenty of good footage for all of the teams to enjoy after the competition is over, and of course for the fans to enjoy from home right now as car number 030 sets off for their first run, AGH Racing from Krakow.
I think this is also the first time we've seen them here on the dynamic area.
Indeed, very impressive livery, a lot of purple and light blue lightning design.
Yeah, and they're quick.
Very quick, 5.273 on their first lap, or the first run, I should say. The driver getting a thumbs up from the team to go for their second run. No, the driver electing not to do it.
Interesting. Only an hour left, so I hope they know what they're doing.
Yeah, less time left than a lot of people think. Will go by much faster than people realize as car number 59 from Dresden lines up. I believe that this is indeed their first attempt.
I remember the car last year was so quick. They had the active ground effect as well. Can they replicate the speed that they had? It looks fast and clean. That's a good recipe.
It's a little bit slower on the first right-hander, but very fast on the second, 4.9. On the driver pushing it to the limit, having a bit of a power slide on the left-hander, but it is a 4.77 and a 4.86 overall.
Wow, okay, that's really good to have the first lap. That means he or she can push it now. Getting signals from the team.
Yeah, I can see the
thumbs up. That's the universal sign of.
Yeah, one was giving a thumbs up. The other was trying to show on the fingers what the time was.
Yeah, I didn't quite get it. Not sure if the driver did.
4.7.
Either way, the thumbs up shows the guy or the girl in the car. He was doing great.
And looking very smooth and very quick on their second attempt as well.
Little tire squeak, so
they do improve. 4.75.
Okay.
Having to do a bit of an adjustment on the left-hand loop there. But it is a new fastest time, 4.74.
300th improvement of the time from Karlsruhe we've seen before, literally 5 or 10 minutes ago. A beautiful car as well from Dresden. And yeah, good job by the driver.
And now we have Darmstadt returning for their second run, car number 242. Very aggressive off the start, slowing down a little for the entry.
I would like to see that. Keeping it together.
Keeping it together, running a little bit wide, I feel.
Yeah, I don't think they're improving. I don't see a green time on the board.
No, indeed. The right-hander was 0.3 slower. The left-hander was a little bit faster, but unfortunately slower overall, 5.39. So their best time remains the 5.27.
Yeah, that's of course the risk if you split it. And don't have the advantage of warmer tires. And also, I feel like the driver was dialed in, so it was probably just purely the grip that was available for him.
Indeed. Now we have car number 16, and this is, as you call them, Matti, the other Zurich.
Yeah, I was actually not aware it was another Zurich team. It's the UAS Zurich. Really cool livery as well on there. Number 16 also printed on their livery. Very nice skid pad so far. Super controlled, which usually means quick, and it is.
It is a good time, 5.37. Let's see, will they do their second run? Yes, opting for it immediately. Well, if the trend of improvements from first to second continues, I would go for a 5.16.
That would be impressive. I'm gonna go for 5.25.
Ye of little faith.
Yeah, but I already had the feeling the driver was doing a really good job at controlling it. But this looks quick, so you might be right.
Well, it is in fact a 5.26 on the dot.
But left is often quicker.
It is a 5.21. It split us exactly down the middle.
All right.
So on average, we're pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like finally we made a correct speculation or a correct guess. Aha, Tallinn.
Tallinn, car number 124.
They have been on the rise in the past few years with some super quick cars.
Yeah, they had a 5.54 on the autonomous skid pad yesterday. So a benchmark is set for the driver.
Oof, driver really fighting it on the first right-hander, as we have seen with many other drivers.
But it is already a good improvement over the autonomous time, 0.3 faster in fact. And a 5.14.
Yeah, great run by the Tallinn driver. That's a really good banker, so if he or she goes again, then they might be able to get it down to a sub 5. I think he got a little bit scared after the first right-hander. Cars started sliding a lot, so I think from then on he took it a little bit more cautiously. And off they go for the final run. Yeah, this looks a bit quicker. Still very controlled.
Considerably quicker, 5.14 and a 4.89.
Wow. If they can keep this together, this is another sub 5.
And it is 4.87.
Wow. That's only 1.5 tenths off the best time.
Indeed. Yeah, I thought sub 5 might have been too tall in order. But you're right, Matti. Good improvement from the team. Congratulations. As we have car number 41 from Deggendorf coming back for their second attempt, I believe. No, their first.
Yeah, indeed, we saw them yesterday quite a lot. A lot of wheel spin, acceleration settings still on maybe.
Maybe warming up the tires just a smidge.
Yeah. They were also running some Dutch music yesterday on the Crazy 20. I should ask the Deggendorf team what that was about. 'Cause as far as I know, that's Germany.
Yeah, it's not medium-sized town, close to the border with Austria. And they get a 5.62.
Really good banker. Well in the 5-second club. Will they do a second run? They will. The queue is building up with first and second drivers now.
And there's still quite a few cars that we haven't seen at all yet. Less than an hour to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Renteam, Zurich, Revolve, Delft. I have not seen them yet.
Again, a very smooth run from the Deggendorf driver.
Let's That's a 10th improvement?
A 2/10 improvement.
Wow. That's always nice to see.
And a 3/10 improvement overall, 5.36.
That's crazy, 3/10. Their first run was already pretty good for the 5.6 and then still managing to shave off 3/10. That's impressive. Well done by them. I think they can be quite happy. Did they also have a driverless run? Because then we can again check, although this feels like a very fast Skidpad, so...
No, they did indeed, and it was a 9.907, so the manual version considerably faster.
Points for the humans. We have the team from Sevilla.
Number 92.
I remember the crowd singing yesterday, I think, for them. Where are they now?
Yeah, I want to say it has been an upsetting lack of fan engagement. Ah, but there they go. There they are.
Wow, a lot of wheel spin in the kind of warm-up right-hander. Maybe their differential not quite ready for the bumps on this Skidpad. But it is quick, 5.7. And left a bit quicker, brings him to a 5.7 overall. Car looks a bit tricky on throttle. Wheels spinning a bit, but with a bit of luck, tires are cleaner now and a bit hotter, so driver should be able to shave off a few tenths.
I am predicting a 5.5.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to have to follow. Should be achievable for them. But yeah, really, you can hear the inside tire spinning up a lot. Not sure if from the crowd you can also hear this.
I do get a 5.58.
Very nice.
Let's see if they can piece it all together.
Oh, yeah,
the left-hander.
The inside tire is just spinning all the way. There's even smoke coming from the tire.
But it is a 5.52.
Oh, we're becoming good at this, Igor.
Yeah, well, practice makes perfect, as we have car number 40 from Eindhoven. And we see now the marshals are realizing also there's not that much time left, so they're lining up the cars a little bit quicker, staging them a little bit faster, as Eindhoven sets off on their first run.
Yeah, they have been very good at Skidpad in the past, so drivers really looking to set one of the best times.
It was 6 seconds dead on the autonomous version yesterday.
This is quicker, way quicker.
Much faster. 4.899, another sub 5 second time on the board.
Yeah, given that he's warming up the tires now, I assume he's going for a second run.
And you can see he's desperate to go as quick as possible.
Of course, it looked just a little bit wild. Of course, that can be beneficial to get some heat in the tires, explore where exactly the limit is. Hopefully, the driver got all the information he needs or she needs, and can make it a very solid run now. And then, yeah, who knows? We might see a new fastest lap. And again, yeah, the orange helping on the Skidpad. Yeah, this is clean. Ah, the bump there has to correct, unfortunately.
Well, still not too much time lost, very similar to the first run. And again, having to make a few corrections over the bumps. But they do improve by 1/100th to a 4.888.
Yeah, actually their third lap, so their first on the left was quicker than their final on the left. Also their first on the right was equally quick as their second on the right, so I think the driver just pushed a tad too much, or the bumps didn't do him justice. We mentioned before we missed run time, revolve still, and here they are, very quick off the line. The rear stepping out just a little bit.
Yeah, and they were the fastest time on the autonomous Skidpad yesterday, 4.875.
Yeah, and I like to see that very controlled car, but it is so quick.
Ooh,
Wow.
and they're just 7/1000ths of a second off of their autonomous time from yesterday.
But of course,
Extremely close.
this is the first run, and they will go immediately for the second one. Having a little bit more tire temp. What do you think?
I think they might be able to beat it. But that would require more than a 10th improvement.
No, just 100th would be enough. They're 7,000ths slower.
Yeah, but I mean the best time we've seen here so far.
Oh, in that regard, yes, of course. But they do start off well, 4.706.
Very well, and that on the right-hander. With assistance.
And they do get the best time of the day, 4.717.
Wow.
So currently, they are the provisional pole holders for both the autonomous and the manual Skidpad.
Wow. Yeah, and it looked so controlled. The car absolutely planted, no corrections whatsoever. And super quick. Yeah, really, really nice times. Very consistent.
Now I have car number 90 from Milan. Also looking quick, but unfortunately going a little bit too tight over there. Hitting a couple of cones on the inside.
Wow. But they have been speeding up a lot through all the corners. So on the right hand, there's a 5.0 and on the left a 4.8. So almost a 2/10 difference.
Yeah, and they had a 5.49 on the autonomous Skidpad yesterday. So that's another point for team driver.
Yeah, but I definitely think they can shave off a 10th here. If the driver can replicate the speed on the right hand side as well, then they're looking for a 4.8 or maybe quicker.
And they are already a lot faster on the first loop.
Yes, this looks clean.
3/10 improvement on the right hand side.
I've seen some really quick cars now. Going quite wide, but
Ooh, not quite enough for the top time, but it's still a fantastic 4.732.
yeah, they just miss out on the top time set by Revolve, but this will give him a whole load of points. Because in this event, it's not, the points are not distributed based on position, it's based on relative time to the first one. And yeah, what is it? Less than 200ths of a second. So that will give them almost the same points as Revolve. Lausanne ready for their, I think this is the first time we see them here, or second time today.
This is the first time, the first run for Lausanne on the manual Skidpad. With the car bottoming out a little bit there, just in the right-hand turn.
Yeah, indeed, continuously scraping actually the front wing on the floor. 5.4. Definitely some quick cars now lined up and doing their Skidpad.
Going for the second run immediately. Wing scraping along on both sides. Just a continuous scraping noise on the second left-hand loop, but they do improve to a 5.137. It seems, yeah, maybe that suspension is a little bit too soft, or maybe the ride height is a little bit too low.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe a bit too much body roll, causing the front wing to scrape tarmac. Let's hope the front wing survived, but I guess it was only minor scraping. 169, this is the team from
167, it is from Osnabrück.
They got a lot of points in the Crazy 20 actually, with their decoration. And it's a 5.7 on their first attempt, yeah. And they're immediately going for the second. The queue is really filling up, so I wouldn't gamble too much more all the time. There's 45 minutes left. We have a really good throughput of the cars, but still, it gets busy. The driver keeping it really clean. You can hear the inside tire spinning up just a bit. We saw one of the cars, I think it was Sevilla, almost doing a burnout during this Skidpad. And this, yeah, great improvement. 3/10, I think, bring it to 5.47.
And immediately car number 62 from Regensburg, I believe, going on their run.
Yeah, that's nice to see how quick all the cars follow up on each other.
Yeah, it is the proverbial squeaky bum time, as they say. Not a lot of time left. Still a lot of cars that want to get their first runs in. I think most of the cars that we mentioned from before that we haven't seen, we have now seen do at least one run or be in the queue. Regensburg, meanwhile, slowing down considerably.
Yeah, it almost seems as if there's a problem with the car or something is holding them back from going quicker. We don't know what, but having a time on the board, I mean, gives you some points, so important to get a clean run in. It does feel like something is wrong with the car in the sense of how much throttle can be applied. Maybe they reduced the torques too much or a weird pedal mapping.
Could be some issue with the motors, maybe not all of them are working. But they do elect to go for their second run immediately, so this must not be a surprise to them. As car number 313 starts.
That's from Berlin, with also a transparent, it's not a monocoque, it's
Yes, indeed. And we can confirm that the driver is wearing pads.
like almost, it's like a swarm of bees, the kind of sound it makes.
Yeah, very aggressive, very unique. This is a 5.408 on their first run, as Regensburg gets ready for their second attempt, and Berlin lines up behind them as well. Regensburg going considerably faster this time around.
Indeed, yeah, maybe the driver was instructed to really take it easy on the first one just to get a run in. But yeah, again, they are slowing down, no?
They are, and there is a bit of a knocking noise, like a creaking noise coming from somewhere in the car.
So they had a 6.4 actually on their fast right-hander.
This car also bottoming out a little bit, front wing scraping along.
Yeah, very consistent, 6.4. I
Yeah.
think, given how the car is behaving, and I'm not sure if they're running around with some kind of issue. Indeed, it's like a little rattling noise when it passes by us. There goes Berlin again. They, yeah, they can find some time. Right and left was 3/10 difference, almost 4. And the driver definitely improves.
And it does just sound like a beehive. TU Berlin.
Yeah, major improvement. Almost 3/10 brings him to a 5.1.
Very good time by Berlin as car number 227. One more Swiss competitor from Bern.
Bern UAS with some pink, purple accents. I like that.
Like a lavender, I would call it. Looking good on the right-hand loop, very controlled.
Yeah, immediately a 5.2. I think this is their first run.
Yes, indeed.
So that's a really good start. Bring it to a 5.1 immediately on their first run.
Yeah, I think if they can push it just a little bit harder, they could be looking at a sub 5 second.
Yeah, that always triggers me. If you get a 5.1 on your first run, then you can be able to get it below 5. Of course, if the driver is already on the limit, then it's very hard to shave off.
You see the rear wing text is a Burt Patapim. Is looking faster, I would say.
Yes.
It is indeed 5.0.
The drivers did 2/10 better on the right-hander.
Car bottoming out
Come
just
on.
a little bit.
Oh, it's so early on the throttle. Wow.
Yes, 4.947.
I
Fantastic
thought
time
we were
by
being
Bern.
too ambitious saying they could go below 5, but they did it. And comfortably as well. 4.95.
And now we have car number 24, E24 I should say. And that is from Portugal, Leiria. Also one of the cars that we saw at the Crazy 20 yesterday. Almost sounds like a combustion car.
Yeah, indeed. It's a little bit more silent though, but has the same pitch. 5.7, that's really decent.
Yeah, good start.
You really saw the driver was fighting it out on the track.
Meanwhile, AMZ gets ready to go, car number 33.
They had a very good driverless Skidpad. I think 5.0.
5.026. But I think this is already looking faster than that.
Let's see.
4.95.
It is sliding a bit.
Yeah, the driver having to make a little bit of correction. But they do improve, 4.941.
Yeah, and this on the first run. So if the driver can find a 10th, maybe 2 tenths somewhere, then they're right up there with the top times we've seen so far. And Portuguese team on their way again. Seeing the they made a half-second improvement. Sorry, it was on the first lap. Yeah, 3 tenths better on the right-hander.
Yeah, unfortunately, clipping a cone on the first left-hander. But it is a good improvement to a 4.97.
Yeah, that's 2 tenths
So
better.
5.497. Indeed, 2 tenths improvement.
Yeah.
As AMZ gets ready for their second run.
And I'm curious how hard the driver will push it. They have a clean run in, sub 5, so that's already very good.
You're cautious over the bump. And then gently easing it into the top speed for the skid pad.
Yeah, looks good. A few corrections though.
But a fantastic 4.7 on the right hand.
And that's often a slower one. 4.75. That brings them into probably 3rd place?
Fourth place.
4th place even. Wow.
4th place, but very, very close. Only 400ths behind the pole position.
That's extremely competitive.
Let's see, TU Braunschweig back for their second attempt. They had a 6.059 on their first run. So I think they'll be hoping for a under 6-second attempt here. It is looking pretty quick, unfortunately clipping a cone, but I think it bounced back just inside the cone box, so that might not count as a penalty.
Yeah, there's a rule down or out. Every cone is marked.
And they do improve quite a bit to 5.65.
Yeah, well underneath.
Now we have car 85 from Delft lining up for their first run. We saw them on the practice track about 10 minutes ago.
Check, I think they want to skip that, so I'm very curious to see if they can replicate that. Very sharp noise as well from the car. Looks very clean. That often means fast.
Already a 4.9 on the practice and a 4.76.
This is their first run. Going a little bit wide. What?
4.698 on their first run.
This is the first run. Here you go.
Incredible, incredible. Let's see what they can do on the second.
Wow.
First
run.
Looking at the historic times, we had the .17, of course, performing.
Yeah, they had a 4.7, but let's focus on this one now. How will the driver find more time? Look, the driver made still some corrections, so I think he can shave off a bit of time.
And they do shave off almost a 10th on the right hand.
Oh, hear the noise from the tires, that's good.
A 4.605. And you can hear the roar from the crowd as well. Phenomenal time by the car from Delft.
They smashed the top time by over a 10th of a second. Wow. Whew. Oh, I need to sit down for this.
Incredible time. Incredible time by the team from Delft. Now we have car number 44, the other Karlsruhe, also known as Ulm. Having a bit of a power slide on the first right-hand turn, and a 5.4. Looking more controlled now on the left-hand side. Power sliding out of the exit, and a 5.4 overall. I think, Martin, looking at the queue, we also have some other traditionally quick contestants. We have Ren Team and Aachen right behind them. Let's see how they will compare against the top time from Delft. But first, we have car number 131, UAS Munich.
Yeah, I haven't quite recovered yet from the astonishing time from Delft. Immediately on the first lap, they were already quick, and then managed to improve even further. So they have really set the bar at the moment. And you have UAS Munich here, 5.4 on their first ride. That's good baseline. And they are improving on the left. Wow, 4/10ths quicker on the left. That gives them a 5.2. So
there's probably still a little bit in there. So
yeah.
Once again, if they can string a perfect Skidpad together, we could be looking at a sub 5.
Yeah, they might. Go ahead, Igor.
Yeah, Ulm setting off. Looking much smoother, much more controlled this time around. No power sliding, no back end getting loose.
And that is a sub 5 on the left, sorry, on the right.
Let's see how much they can improve by. A little bit correction there on the left hand. 5.094, 4/10ths improvement.
And also they are quicker on the right and on the left, but I think the car just went a little bit wide. The rear stepped out here at the end. But very good time nonetheless. Munich Motorsport improving a lot.
Yeah, looking much good on the first one.
4.8 on the right.
Looking good, looking controlled. And another sub 5 second time, 4.775. Half a second improvement.
That's crazy. Half a second. This driver, where did he find that?
Now we have car number 030 from Krakow going for their second run. They had a 5.27 on their first attempt. So again, perfect Skidpad could mean sub 5 seconds. Not quite there on the right-hand loop. Let's see if they can compensate on the left. Not quite enough to get under 5, but still a massive improvement to a 5.1. Well done, Krakow. As car number 26 from Stuttgart lines up and gets the green flag immediately. Also being gentle over the bump. Even then, you could hear the front wing scrape the ground a little bit.
All right, so we know what we need to look for in the first lap. Although now Munich Motorsport improved with half a second, so it doesn't... Oh, they're stalling.
Oh, yes.
Something going wrong.
The T-cell light is still active. Not sure if the car is just stopping entirely or if the driver is slowing down intentionally.
If he could have stopped it before, then it would still not count if he could restart it. But unfortunately, he already went over the timing. And that means his final left-hander is already counting. I do hear the T-cell again. I think
they do manage to restart it. Yeah, they're just not going to do their second loop.
So I think technically, if he would have stalled, like somewhere in the middle, on his first left-hander, could restart and just wrap up his second left-hander and do a decent time.
Oof. Let's see if they decide to go for their second run immediately. Yes, they do. Okay, let's hope that they can.
They are going to be quick. Yesterday on the crazy 20,
yeah, they had a sub 15-second time. So let's see how that translates to the quote-unquote real-life track.
Yeah, it's getting a bit more silent here now.
Yeah, I think it's just
tense. Everyone very tense to see what Aachen and afterwards Ren team can do. It's stuttering a little bit on throttle. That is not what you want on a Skidpad.
Well, looking a little bit shaky there, the driver having to control it.
Yeah, the throttle seems to be very sensitive. Oh, that's such a shame.
Still very good time, 4.9 on the right. And a 4.7 on the left, 4.8 overall.
Yeah, wow, potential is there for sure.
Definitely. As Ren team, Uni Stuttgart go for their second run. Let's hope the car works properly this time around.
And it's two Porsche-sponsored cars currently.
Looking very good on the right-hand loop. 4.71. Ooh. and see if they can speed up just that little bit more.
Whoa.
4.673, phenomenal time from Stuttgart. Only 700ths off of Delft's time.
Yeah, but still 700ths. But very good run. They of course had a little bit of bad luck in their first run, but well done by the driver.
Yeah, let's see what Aachen could do on their second attempt. The car's still looking a little bit twitchy there. The driver having to make a lot of adjustments.
Yeah, the throttle is way too sensitive.
Oh, but it is a 4.583 on the right.
Okay, I take back my words.
Wow. Oh, and they get a new fastest time, 4.554.
That's crazy.
Phenomenal from Aachen.
Even with the bouncing, they still managed to beat the time of Delft with half a tenth.
Half a hundredth.
Yeah. No, half a tenth.
No, half a tenth. Yeah, you're right, half a tenth.
500ths.
Indeed. All right, now we have car number 35.
WOP Racing from Ostfalia, I think.
WOP.
Beautiful car. I really like the livery. And they are looking. They immediately have a 5.0 in their first right-hander. That's often an indication of a quick car.
Ooh.
4.8. And that on the first run.
Indeed. I will say it did not look like a sub 5 second time, but it was.
Yeah, and I think it's also the first time we've seen them here on track.
It's their first run, of course, so let's see how much they can improve on their second run. Half an hour left in the Skidpad event and in the autonomous acceleration as well. It seems that, yeah, they did clip a couple of cones here and there. Those have just been reset by the track marshals.
Yeah, but on the left-hander, they did a 4.68. So if they can speed up a little on the right, just a little, then they can really get an extremely good time.
And they do seem to be speeding up. 4.77.
Oh, this is promising. What a quick car. It looks so controlled. Wow.
And a 4.75 overall. Fantastic time from Ostfalia.
Yeah, this matches the top times we've seen an hour ago. It's a really impressive run from them. Great job, and yeah, this is their first appearance on this year's stage.
Yeah, and that does put them on provisional 7th spot.
7th? Wow. Is it so competitive this year?
Insanely competitive. As we now have the next car, number 110, I believe that is Augsburg, making their way for their first run. The queue has emptied out a little bit. We do see one more car making their way over, car number 84.
Yeah, I think around 11 o'clock everyone starts to feel the pressure to start queuing.
Yeah, only half an hour to go. Of course, the car number 84, that is Hannover. They're coming for their second run.
Augsburg, I think, is ready. I have been... no, we're waiting for a marshal at the start of the track. Probably discussing a few things. But what a run we just had. Times were tumbling and tumbling down. Delft breaking the laws of physics with a 4.6. Just when we thought it couldn't get better.
It got even better. And Aachen broke the laws of physics even more.
Yeah. And I feel like there was still some potential in the Aachen car because it was bouncing around on throttle.
Indeed. No, I'm sure most of the cars that we've seen, Delft, Aachen, all of them, if you give them a couple of more runs, they would have gotten even faster.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday in the Historic Cup, where they could do 4 runs after each other, and then every run they managed to improve with a tenth at least. Augsburg.
110. Let's see.
Ready for their Skidpad run. Off they go. Driver is waving a little bit. Seems like something went wrong. Maybe some motors shutting off, or...
Yeah, the driver is just electing to exit immediately.
Yeah, they kicked off rather quickly, and immediately the car, I don't know, some motors maybe shut down or some limiter was enabled. And yeah, driver definitely disappointed. Seems like he knew what happened, or at least knew that this was bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, the orange helmet's not helping out quite as much in this case.
Guess like sometimes we are wrong.
Very, very rarely. But it is known to happen.
Okay, what is coming our way? It's car 34. Do you remember what car that was?
21st
I think we
night of
saw them.
September.
I think we saw them already. At least in the queue.
It is the car from Ingolstadt.
Of course. And what kind of lap times were they doing?
They weren't.
Oh. They had a DNF then, or?
No. This is their first attempt.
Oh, really?
You can see that they're in the first driver queue. And behind them, Hannover 84 in the second driver queue. And I see one more car entering the dynamic area.
Could be Esslingen. I just saw them on the test track. Could also be wrong though. Is that Esslingen? Still a bit far away. Yeah, and it's definitely heating up a little bit. It was quite chill this morning. I thought it would remain that way. I still think the air temperature is not too hot, but the sun definitely picked up. So make sure everyone to wear some sunscreen, otherwise you'll look like a lobster at the end of the day.
Indeed, wear plenty of sunscreen, drink plenty of water, try to stay in the shade where you can. The track temperature definitely heating up, which will be good for the next dynamic event that we will have after the lunch break. That will be at 1:30, the manual acceleration. What can you see happening in the queue, Matti?
Yeah, all the cars getting prepared so that we can get a nice show again of some cars following up on each other. Just having a closer look at the cars we are having and how it's going. Maybe a second.
While Matti explores the happenings in the queue, car number 84 from Hannover coming for their second attempt. A little bit of support from the stands there. They had a 5.944 in their first run. Already looking a little bit quicker than that, more stable, more controlled. Improving their right-hander by 0.2 of a second. Let's see if they can improve on the left as well. A little bit of oversteer there and the driver having to correct, hitting a cone unfortunately. But they do improve to a 5.944. Improving by half a tenth.
Sorry, I was just chatting with some of the officials who were equally impressed by the run from Aachen, discussing a little bit how quick all the cars are this year. Now currently looking at the beautiful car from Esslingen being checked by the scrutineers if the car is safe. Driver also gets a little briefing about how to do the Skidpad and all the procedures around it. And I think we have the car from Ingolstadt making its way to their first run or second run.
It will indeed be their first run. I also saw car number 66, unfortunately, turning around in the queue, the car from Nuremberg. Hopefully they'll still be able to make it in time. There's just over 20 minutes left as Ingolstadt sees the green flag and sets off.
Nice and steady, building up the speed. That's what I like to see. And this is what we saw from all the quick cars so far. It looked so controlled, but oh so quick.
And there's a 5.6 on the right-hander. And they seem to be improving a little bit on the left-hand side as well.
Yeah, 5.5. Really good baseline for them.
Yeah.
I would assume they go for a second run immediately. I'm not sure, given that there's only 20 minutes left.
Yeah, not too much time left. Tires are fresh. Tires are as warm as they will be. Driver is as ready as they will be. So definitely the best time to do the second run.
I just saw a really cool feature on the Renstal car. Actually, they seems to have like a cooling plate at the rear, which opens when the car charged. Really cool to see. Probably a setting they can turn on or off whether it rains or not.
Meanwhile, Ingolstadt do improve by 0.2 on their right-hand loop. And on the left-hand loop as well, improving by 0.2 overall, 5.39.
Again, the classic 0.2 improvement we see from many teams. And I'm excited for this car. The car from Esslingen, I really like their style. They always make these beautiful cars and often very quick. So the bar has been set extremely high by Aachen. But driver's definitely not holding back. And the first lap will, the first right-hander will indicate what kind of speed they have in hand.
And there's a 4.86 already.
Yeah, we've seen before that's very good for the first right-hander.
And a 4.83 on their first attempt.
Very nice first lap, but it all comes down to this. How much can they shave off?
So I think Aachen might be just a little bit too far out of reach, but Delft could be in harm's way.
Can they get a 1/10 or 2/10 off? I think already time is super impressive. So.
And they do improve by a 1/10 on the right-hand side,
which is often the critical part. He doesn't overcook it now, which seems like he's not doing.
4.725.
Yeah, 10th improvement, and that brings him in play with all the top teams.
Yeah, that's good enough for 5th place provisionally.
Augsburg is lining up again here, so they had a very quick turnaround after their run 5 minutes ago, ready to do their second one. There was a team that had the problem where immediately the car kind of shut down some motors right after the start. So hopefully they know what the issue is and can fix it. Maybe the driver will have a different approach now. But hopefully they can get a successful second run in and get some points. Meanwhile, in the test area, I see the 2015 car from Delft doing some practice runs. I'm not sure who's driving it, but he's sure having quite a lot of fun.
And of course, the next historic event we will see is the historic acceleration at 4:30. But before then, still the manual acceleration to come. And in parallel with the historic acceleration, we will also be having the driverless autocross, also known as track drive.
Isn't the track drive the
No,
kind of like endurance
I was just
equivalent?
thinking, I believe that is the endurance equivalent. Good of you to catch me there, Matti.
I have to say, it confused me sometimes as well. These different names. Augsburg, come on, fingers crossed that their cars work, that the cars work as intended, and that they can wrap up a successful Skidpad here.
Let's see if the orange helmet will bring some better luck this time around. Driver taking their time after the green flag is waved. They're going to re-engage the tractive system, but they do set off.
Yeah, and it's quick. Clearly they had some issue before.
Yeah, 5.35 on the right-hand loop.
Good start. Can they improve on the left? The driver
look like it.
The driver really leaning inwards with his helmet.
And they do improve, a 5.2 on the left and a 5.28 overall.
Yeah, they were of course hoping to get 2 clean runs in, but still this is will give them plenty of points. So they're still in the running for a good run.
And it seems like there's a little break in the action for now. 15 minutes left in the Skidpad. What do you think, Watsi? Is any teams running in at the last second, or is this the pause in the action until the afternoon session?
Yeah, I do believe that the teams planned it out well. Certainly the combo as well with the driverless and acceleration. I would be curious to see how busy it is there in the queue. Yeah, round 11, clearly all the teams suddenly felt the pressure, came here. It was an extremely efficient throughput of cars. We've seen many cars in only half an hour time. Times tumbling down, super exciting. Now it seems that everyone had their run. The times are set, points ready to be divided. Yeah, maybe some team makes a last minute appearance. You never know, it could also be a team that just got out of scrutineering. But yeah, seems like we're wrapping up here.
And I'm just checking on the acceleration live stream. There's quite a bit of action yet to come there. 4 or 5 cars in the queue preparing to make their first and second runs.
Yeah, that's also a bit what we guessed at the beginning. That people would do their acceleration, 1 run, come back to Skidpad, and then wrap up with acceleration. So that might be what we're seeing right now as well. And a nice historic Esslingen car on the test track with a lovely sound. Really having a lot of fun. Not sure what they're practicing. I think mostly practicing having fun. We will see them, I think, later today as well. There's at the end of the day the historic acceleration. That will also be pretty cool to see how they'll compare the different years with each other. Very distance into the dynamic area. Could of course be that they just want to do testing. But who knows? I'm also interested in doing a Skidpad run. Okay, they're pushing it into one of the what's called pit boxes of the testing area.
to see some more action in the closing stages of the manual Skidpad here. I do see one car making their way through the queue.
It is a BMW?
Could it be TU Vienna?
Yes, as well possible. I'm not sure. Have we seen them already here? Maybe at the very beginning of the morning?
Not for the manual Skidpad. It was a similar situation yesterday for the autonomous Skidpad. They showed up right at the very end. So it seems they are very consistent with how they choose to time their dynamic participation.
And maybe they're running a GMT time or something. They're taking it very tight. Yeah, and as far as I can see, they have not set the time yet. I mean, there's only 10 minutes to go. Not sure why they are playing it so tight. Of course, we do not know what kind of issues or challenges they are dealing with. But indeed, quite consistently entering 10 minutes before the closing to do their run. Test track, one of my favorite cars, the Zurich car from 2014, Grimsel, doing some practice runs. I think they're practicing the acceleration. Interesting that they still need to practice that, because this is the car that did a 1.5, I think, 0 to 100 time back in a few years ago. Maybe they're just having some fun driving around. They're doing it very cautiously at the moment, exploring the track a little bit. This is also, certainly in the Historic Cup, also an opportunity for some of the team members to have a go at it. And another car is joining us. So yeah, once again, 10 minutes, 5 minutes before, still some teams plan it very tightly. The Vienna car, and then 29, I'm not sure. I'll have a look if we have seen them again already.
We saw them yesterday at the Crazy 20. That is the car from Navarra.
Oh yeah, they had this really cool flag flying behind. A bit ashamed that it's not allowed during normal events. Because it also gave really cool insight in how the aerodynamics on the rear wing work. Maybe too much insight to their competitors. They also had a really funny song playing yesterday evening.
Yeah, were they the ones that had the karaoke going on?
Yeah, either them or maybe it was another Spanish team, but it sounded quite funny. Yeah, we had some speculations whether the flag on the rear wing yesterday was blown by some, fans for cooling, or if it was genuinely the aerodynamics. So I want to have a closer look now to see what kind of ventilators they have on the rear, because I do believe that it was the aerodynamics, but of course we need to fact check that. And another car, is that Hamburg?
This car number 78 could be Hamburg. It is indeed Hamburg.
7 more minutes. I really hope we can get all 3 cars in.
Yeah, of course, they still need to do all of the
6 minutes, I hear, even. Getting tighter and tighter. So, yeah. Everyone will have to work as efficiently as possible. Hopefully, all the cars can drive without any issue. And then there might be a chance that we see everyone on track. Does Hamburg already have a time on the table, Igor?
No, I don't think they do. This is their first attempt, hopefully.
Aye. So then all these cars do not have a time yet. And closer look at the Navara car. They do not necessarily have massive fans on the rear, so I really think it was the aerodynamics that we saw working on the rear wing, having the effect on the flag. Vienna making its way. Car from Vienna looks really neat. I do believe that it can be very quick, so first of all, can they manage to get it below 5 seconds, and then can they, you know, challenge the top teams? Wow, what a noise.
Yeah, it was a 9.3 on the autonomous Skidpad yesterday. The driver already clipping the cone in the entry, unfortunately, but it is looking quick.
Yeah, very noisy gearbox. 5.2 on the right-hander. It's their first run, so usually they always shave off 2/10. Rear stepping out a little, but it's a very good time of 5.1.
I think they're definitely looking at a sub 5 second here.
Yeah, big cheers from the crowd behind me. They're of course very happy that they can get a time on the board because there's only 5 or 4 minutes left.
Yeah, and just as you say that, there is one more car being pushed into the queue.
No way. It is the car, it's blue. I'll have a closer look. Oh, this is gonna be tight. But scrutineers are really doing all in their might to get all the cars ready. You can probably hear the cheering from the team behind me.
Vienna looking very good in their second attempt. A 4.89 on the right-hander.
I'll let you hear the chants from the team.
Yes, lovely cheer from the team, and it is a 4.9 for Vienna.
Yeah, extremely impressive from them. And again, yeah, the 2/10 improvement, it keeps on being true. It is the team from Göttingen, by the way, that is anxiously making its way here.
Also, we have the two Hawk teams. Is it still appropriate to make Hawk Tour jokes?
Yeah, I think as long as it's not me too, it's fine.
Okay, car number 29, University of Navarra, setting off on their first run. Looking very controlled. Driver having to make a few speed adjustments here and there, but overall very smooth.
Right, and good news for the Hamburg team. They are being sent towards the Skidpad, of course, waiting for the Navarra team.
Navarra finishes with a 5.35, and I think they will be able to get their second run in before Amberg is lined up for their first.
A few seconds earlier, they might have been able to go there, but that's how it works.
It's a very nice livery on the Navarra car. You didn't see yesterday in the dark, but they have these shining gold elements accentuating their livery. It looks very beautiful in the sun. As they set off on their second run.
Team members from Göttingen are doing everything to get their car ready.
Big power slide on the switch from Navarra, the driver deciding to risk it on the exit of the right-hand loop.
And it's collecting a cone. Stuck under the front wing, and now under the side plates.
Yeah, it was an improvement overall. I think with the cone being counted, it won't be. But still, it shows that there is more performance in that car, and I'd say bodes well for the remainder of the dynamic events.
Yeah, but I think they can just be very happy that they get a run in the board. I think 1 minute left, so Hamburg will fall as well, get a run in.
Yeah, Hamburg might even be able to get 2 in if they hurry up. But Göttingen, unfortunately, I don't think will get through in time.
Believe it or not, there are 2 more cars approaching. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work out, but we'll see. You never know.
Hamburg looking a little bit twitchy. No oversteer there on the exit of the second right-hander. But a respectable initial time. They're in the 5.4 area at the moment. 5.3 even.
Wow, 3/10 improvement on the left, so he might be able to shave off a few tenths on the right and then get a really good time.
Yeah, I'd say looking at the low 5s.
less than a minute remaining now.
Yeah, I think the gong will be rung any second. But I do hear, I think, in the background there, Matti Hawk being led through.
Yeah, it's like really a matter of seconds now. I can hear the T-sol. That's a good beginning. If they can go now, then they might be able to queue. If they will still be able to start, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the rules are, what they have agreed on this morning in the briefing.
Hamburg, meanwhile, does improve to a 5.18 on the right hand. As the driver looking more in control now, finding that limit very close to the cones but not touching them. And a 5.1 dead.
Oh, it's a game of seconds now. I think once you queued up, you might be able to get started, but again, depends on what they have agreed on this morning.
And let's see, moment of truth. Will Hawk be shown the green flag? Yes, they will. They were just in time to get one run in.
Wow.
The driver doesn't seem to be pushing it too hard, but keeping it nicely under control.
Yeah, it seems like he really got it under control.
Ooh, but unfortunately, it seems the car has some technical issues and is unable to complete the run, and the driver is removing the steering wheel and jumping out.
Oh, that's sad. Oh, that's... Everyone was doing their best to get the car ready and actually managed with a matter of seconds. Too bad to see that they can't quite wrap it up.
Unfortunately, it seems to have gotten ready a little bit too quickly. Probably that's why they were taking their time and really just tried at the very last moment to get a time in for the skid pad. Unfortunately, they did not get to finish, but we did see a lot of teams finish throughout the event. Had a really blistering period there with Delft and Aachen and Stuttgart and AMZ, and a lot of other teams setting sub 5 second times, one after the other.
Yeah, I was at some point at the beginning of the morning getting worried if we would see a sub 5 second time, but well, suddenly all the quick cars came right after each other with a crazy 30 minutes that we had. And yeah, I think we're kind of wrapping up here.
Yeah, that wraps up the morning session. The autonomous acceleration should be wrapping up as well. Thank you everybody for joining and watching along both on the track and at home, and we will see you in 1.5 hours at 1:30 for the manual acceleration. Bon appetit, have a nice rest, and see you then.